All right, gonna make sure all systems are go here. Where are we at? Okay, there's that one. Okay, good. We're good to go there. Let me get my chat windows up. Let me get my pop-out chat going on up in her. This is the free consultation. This is free consultation Sunday, otherwise known as the Sunday Zoom call. I've turned the Sunday Zoom call into free consultation Sunday, where you can call in with your relationship issues and I help you solve them. So I'm going to put the link in here very, very quickly. Very good. We got the level up man who is in the house. Let's see. Hashtag pull up. I don't know what the hell that was. I hit something on my roadcaster. Let me pin that message. Okay, very good. So if you have a question or anything about your relationships in general, the link is in the chat. Oh, I like how StreamYard has added demo scenes. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I got to tell you guys, I'm not really. I've actually had I've had another long, productive weekend. Had a great day with Devin yesterday. We got a lot done. We ran errands. We did a little bit of grocery shopping. Then we VTheg123 says, "Yo, Donovan, what's going on, guys?" Yeah, let me shout you guys out first. Luke Perry in the chat says, "Greetings and salutations, brother. I'll be back and forth between here and Rollo Tomasi." I think Rollo Tomasi's live talking about something. Matter of fact, I might just drop in. And listen to what he's doing while we wait for people to hashtag pull up. Clotis McEwen, what's going on? Kareem Young says, "What's really good?" Clotis says, "I think somebody's watching me." Is that the Michael Jackson Halloween song that everybody was jumping on? That's interesting. He also says, "I don't think it's the owner of the channel. It could be, but I don't think that's the case." All right, Clotis, I'm a little lost. There. Well, look at this. How about that? Look at this. So Luke Perry in the chat says, Donovan Sharp fam at proton.me is Brian Ashlock emailing subscribers to join Reddit. Ignore him. Oh my God, you gotta be freaking kidding me. This dude will not go away. This dude literally will not go the fuck away, man. Ay. Oh my God, this fucking guy, dude. So Brian Ashlock, as some of you guys know, that is Devin's ex-husband. He's been Devin's ex-husband for Jesus, God knows how long. And this dude continues to fuck. He really continues to try fucking with me. So I'm gonna have to. I don't know, man. I've tried, leaving him alone or whatever. But at some point, I'm gonna have to take some legal action against this clown because it's ridiculous. Unbelievable. Walter, get out of there. Psst. Walter, get out of there. Get. Yeah, I do apologize, guys. Yeah, Brian Ashlock, Devin's ex-wife or Devin's ex-husband continues to try fucking with me. He's been trying to fuck with us for years and years, guys. He really has. Wow. Any emails that are not from tsracademy.com is most likely Brian. Wow. Holy moly. This is crazy. Luke Perry says, burp sweet. Whatever. Hey, Apollo's in the house. Good to see you in here as usual. You guys know that I live vicariously through Apollo. CH says, what's up, guys? Appreciate that very, very much. King Life says, MJ trying to save Carmelo. Can't save a guy who brought a weapon to a track meet. Yeah, listen, guys, Carmelo Anthony is going to prison, guys. I don't think there's any question about that. At this point, you know, is he going to go to prison for life? Is he going to be on death row? You know. DeRay Davis says, yo, Donovan, my brother, you going to sneak in hard art today as well? Probably not. I don't know. Depending upon how quickly this goes, we'll see. We will see. Yeah, Devin says, yeah, psycho. Luke Perry says, sue him. It's defamation. Listen, I could sue Devin's ex-husband into the Stone Ages. Guys, this man is broke. Like, oh my God, you guys got to understand, dude. Oh my God. This man has no money. He has no money. He has no job. He grows drugs in his house. I know this for a fact. I know this to be true. I know his girlfriend grows drugs in the house. I know his girlfriend has a son, 14, 15, maybe 16 years old by now. They grow drugs in the house, guys. This is what they do. This is what they do, guys. So yeah. Dr. B84 with the $5 super chat says, check the Discord main chat, Donovan, for important info posted by Luke Perry. Oh, okay. Boy, I tell you what, man, you guys get it all here. You guys get it all here on the Donovan Sharp YouTube channel. The Donovan Sharp YouTube channel appears to be the gift that keeps on giving. Oh, okay. That was definitely a Discord sound. So let's see what we got going on here. Let me go into the main chat. All right. Desktop. Oh, wow. That's all the way down there. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at this. Oh, my God. 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 This was back in April 6th. He says, hey, bro, check out the official Donovan Sharp fan subreddit. Bunch of us are over there trying to get it going. You got to be kidding me, dude. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, you know what, guys? It's yeah. This loser keeps fucking with me. It's time to take some serious legal action here. You got to be kidding me with this guy. This dude. Unbelievable, man. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, man. This guy. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me. King Life says, what I'm trying to figure out is how he did get Luke's email. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, guys. Dude, I have told you guys for years that Brian is he is a computer wizard. Man, this guy knows how to do a lot of things with computers. And I'm gonna tell you what, one thing that I've never tried to do was email my subscribers. Like, I don't think there's any way you can email your subscribers because I think that's a violation of YouTube's terms or whatever the case may be. But yeah, Luke Perry says, how did he get your subscribers' info? Holy moly. Yeah, dude, this guy, I'm gonna tell you what, man, this guy keeps, okay, all right, okay, yeah, Masters final round is happening too. Yeah, I was actually watching a little bit of that. Let me tune into that because I think last I checked, I think Rory McIlroy had the lead with Bryson DeChambeau hot on his heels. Oh my God, this is crazy. Derek Swindoll says, hey, Donovan in chat, the wife and I are enjoying the weekend, about to head out for a walk. Ah, good to see you. Good to see you in here. Yeah, I don't know how he got. I really don't know how he got y'all's emails in the first place, y'all. I really, really don't. I really don't know. That is absolutely crazy, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, you know what, dude? We're getting ready to go to the cops. We gotta. It's time for us to go to the cops with this, man. We've tried ignoring it. We've tried, safeguarding everything. And here's the thing, guys. The reason why he continues to do this is because we blocked him from. Yeah. Yeah. Ay. All right, well, whatever. We'll, CH says, bro made a whole subreddit dedicated to trolling you, nasty work. Yeah, dude, he's not the first. He's not the first to do it, and he certainly won't be the last. Oh, let me get Jay Blaze in here. Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, how was that Godzilla -1?
Dude, Godzilla -1 was crazy. That was really, 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 really good, man. That was, dude very good plot and everything, man.
And Godzilla was a complete dickhead in that.
Oh yeah. He was ruthless, dude. They every time they blow him up. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but what was it? Yeah, it was really good. So what's up, man?
Did you see the Andrew Wilson, Piers Morgan? He had another one on Friday.
Oh, I didn't. No, I did not see that, and I will.
You got to break it down.
To that tomorrow. Okay.
Dude, he went. One was a TERF, like a old feminist. The other one was a trans activist, whatever, that was completely delusional. And then the other one was another conservative feminist. And he took them all on.
Wow, dude! I swear to God, Andrew Wilson is undefeated, bro. Like
exactly.
I've never ever seen him lose a debate, like ever. I don't know how the dude does it.
And you could tell Piers does not interrupt him. So Piers, on some level, does agree with him, and he just brings on all these people that are just crazy, and this is what we have been pushing for, like in the feminized society we live in.
Yeah, dude. So it looks like I've got my topic for tomorrow for TSR Live. Also, guys, tonight I will be joined by Jay Blaze tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our pre-NFL draft Chop Block Sports Talk podcast. Very much looking forward to that. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Shedeur Sanders sliding Derek Carr. I've heard that his season is actually in jeopardy, and that he might not play the 2025 season.
Yeah, he has a shoulder injury, so I think the Saints will either they might go for Aaron Rodgers, but most likely they'll draft Shedeur at 9, because if Shedeur doesn't get picked up at 9, I think the Steelers pick him up.
Somebody's definitely going to get Shedeur. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll see you at 8:30, man.
All right, brother. We'll see you soon, man.
Later.
That is Jay Blaze in the house. I'll be joined by him here very shortly. Let me bring Apollo to the stage. What's going on, Apollo? How you doing, brother?
All right, Don. How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. All right, so talk to me about your adventures, man. Well, what's on your mind? What's on the mind with these bitches out here, dude?
Yeah, definitely wanted to get your, definitely expert opinion, on this situation. So, I've told you about the, one girl I've been seeing for, over a year now.
Right.
And
she swallows the kids.
No, this one doesn't. That was the one girl, Mary. That
I know. I was fucking with you. I was fucking with you on that one, man.
I missed that, man. I missed that, and I know you said like if she came back, don't do it. I might be weak in the knees if she did.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, man. Dude, these bitches out here are running some serious girl game when they start swallowing the kids, man. So anyway.
But the thing is, like with this woman, because I've talked to you about her before, where she'll ask about other women I'm seeing, and we've had to, got it like, look, I'm seeing others. I don't want to keep answering questions about it. If
Right.
you don't like it, you don't have to keep seeing me. But I've been upfront since the beginning, and she's been okay with it. So we've been kicking and everything, been cool. Well, this weekend, that's now, she had wanted to hang out, but I wasn't sure yet what I was going to do because I had stuff with my kids and everything.
Okay.
And I was going to see the other girl, the military woman I talked to you about. Like, we had been making plans as
Oh, I
well.
remember that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember her.
So I was trying not to mention that. I was just like, I'm just not sure yet. And then this woman, kept asking me, so are you seeing somebody else? So finally, for me, when somebody asks me more than once, it's like, are you sure you want me to answer this question? Because
Yeah.
you
Yep.
might not like the answer. So she was
Right.
like, I want to know. Because before she didn't want to know about the other lady, she did. I was like, okay, what do you want to know? Let's get it out the way.
Okay,
Like,
let me pause.
are
Let
you
me stop right there. What is
okay?
happening? What is happening is that she's starting to catch real feelings for you, right? Most girls, listen, when you start seeing someone sexually and you both know it's casual, in the beginning, sometimes it's spoken, sometimes it's unspoken, but there is a spoken/unspoken agreement. Hey, we're not going to, look, as long as I don't see it, smell it, taste it, I'm not going to ask about it, blah, 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 blah. She told you she didn't want to know. Now that she's starting to catch feelings for you, now she wants to know. And
Right.
this is involuntary. Okay, this is something that is involuntary. This is something that they cannot help. Please continue.
Okay. So she was like, are you seeing, somebody else as well? I was like, yeah. How long you been seeing her? Since January. I'm just answering matter of fact.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
do you like her? Yeah, like she's cool. It was like, well, what is it that you like? I'm like, we kick it. She doesn't ask questions. She
Okay.
doesn't bombard me when text messages with this other woman. At times, if I don't answer, she'll say, are you okay? What's going on? I might be in a meeting. I might be asleep, anything. I hate when people do that. Like, let me get back to you when I'm free. And we've had discussions about that. So then she got an attitude. So, oh, you only see me then when you're just bored, when you have nothing to do. Like, it's not that at all. But she got an attitude, and then I guess just, stopped talking to me, deleted my number. And because when I text her about something, all of a sudden she's like, who is this? So, I just haven't talked to her since then. So just curious what your thought is on that.
So just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, she keeps bugging you, asking you, hey, are you seeing somebody else? Are you seeing somebody else? You finally said, yeah, I'm seeing somebody else. And what happened after you told her the truth about you seeing other girls? What did she do? What did she say before she stopped all contact?
She asked, do I like her? And I said, yeah. And she asked, why? Like, what is it that I like about her? I told her.
Okay.
And then her question was, oh, so do you only see me when you have nothing else to do?
Oh my God. Yeah, this is, so what she's trying to do now. So that's comfort testing, right? If you didn't like her, obviously you wouldn't be sleeping with her, right? But girls know this. And so what she's trying to do, and listen, she's being honest with you. Okay, why do you like me? And the interesting thing is,
she was asking why do I like the other girl?
Oh, she asked you why you like the other girl.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's not surprising. Oh, that's not. In other words, what does she have? What does she have that keeps you coming back? What did you tell her?
I told her, I was like, 1, she doesn't ask me about other women.
Right. Okay.
2, she doesn't bombard my phone. If I don't answer, after a few minutes, she doesn't send, are you okay? What's going on?
Right.
Because this first woman does that. Like, if I don't answer after a little while, like, is everything okay? Are you mad at me? And I don't like that. It's like,
no.
If I'm busy or I'm not answering, just wait till I return your text.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then the other thing is this other woman doesn't ask about relationship. Like, oh, when are we going to be together? I will be, make a good girlfriend. You will be a good boyfriend to me. That's why I like her, because it's nice and easy.
Yeah. At some point, and see, you're actually starting to experience this a little bit more now, which is why even now the gears are starting to turn. You're like, okay, this is beginning to get to the point of diminishing returns, right? Yeah. We all get to that point somehow. Okay, so you told her. So you told this crazy chick. We're gonna call her crazy chick. So you told her all of the things. So you told her, all right, this is what I like about her. She's basically anything but you. Has she contacted you since then, or are things still the same? How are things going?
Yeah, because then the next question was like, oh, do you only see me then when you have nothing to do?
And what did you tell her?
I said, that's not the case, but she didn't take it that way. And then because I had left something at her house last week that I was asking about getting. So once after a few hours go by where we don't talk, I said, "Hey, can I come by and get that?" She's like, "Who is this?"
Oh my god! Oh my
god!
So
we haven't spoken since.
Yeah, dude, keep her ass on ice, man. Keep her ass on ice, because what she's trying to do now is she's trying to see. Here's the thing: I can guarantee you this, and you probably know this, but you probably don't know that you know this. So I'm going to tell you what you already know. She's getting advice from her girlfriends, as these women often do. That's the reason why she keeps squeezing you. That's the reason why she keeps asking these questions. That's the reason she's acting crazy. Her girlfriend or girlfriends, they are advising her to do what would be effective against them, which is to go radio silent, okay? Here's the problem. Radio silence only works if the person likes you more than you like them, okay? She likes you more than you like her, okay? She knows that, but with this inverse projection, women always advise each other to do the things in their relationships that would make them respond. And so, and of course, most women know, and they even complain about it all the time, Apollo. They're like, oh my God, this one guy who texts me and calls me all the time, I don't really want him, but then there's this one guy who never calls me or texts me, and I just can't get enough of him, right? It's like these, it's like they subconsciously know what things are effective, so to speak, against them to get them to respond, if at all. So what her girlfriends are telling her to do, her girlfriends have told her to go radio silent. So if I were you, I wouldn't reach out, I wouldn't call, I wouldn't text, because what's going to end up happening, Apollo, is, and she's been angling for a relationship for a few weeks now, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, more than a few weeks, a few months.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, has it been that long? Yeah. And this is, and guys, I want to point this out. This is kind of a teaching moment here. This is what happens when you have rotations of girls, okay? Girls are going to they're going to come in and out of your rotation all the time, okay? Your rotation, if you're really doing it right, your rotation really doesn't look the same from 1 month to the next. There's no such thing as a guy having the same 3, 4, 5 girls on a rotation for 6 months, a year and a half. It doesn't work that way. And the reason why it doesn't work that way is because if a girl sticks around, if she is in your rotation long enough, eventually she is going to want to be with you. Eventually, she is going to want to be in a relationship with you. And the funny thing is, guys, is like I told you, Apollo, this is involuntary, okay? This is just human nature playing itself out. This is why I advise guys, if you want to involve yourself in the player life, you're going to have to do some things you don't want to do. Namely, dropping girls, ghosting girls that you genuinely like. Well, why would you do that, Donovan? Well, if you want to continue with the rotation of girls and have the abundance mentality, you can't like one girl more than the others. That's just how that works, because as soon as you start catching feelings for that girl, now that puts you in a position of vulnerability. And so when you as a man start catching feelings for a woman that you've been sleeping with, that's when it's time to cut her loose. It is not easy to do that, especially when she swallows the kids like Apollo was talking about a little while ago. But at some point, guys, every woman, no matter who she is, no matter how old she is, if she is with you, if she is sleeping with you long enough, eventually she is going to want to be in a relationship with you. Now, let me address your situation. So, at this point, Apollo, here's what's going to happen. She's gone radio silent on you, okay? The desired result is for you to be doing to her what she does to you. Hey, are you okay? Are you mad at me? Blah, 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 blah. When you don't do that, and you won't, she's going to ratchet it up even more. And at some point, Apollo, probably in the not too distant future, she's going to start trying to sabotage things. And in other words, like, don't let her get any information. I'm sure you haven't done this. She doesn't know anything about the other girls you're seeing, does she?
No.
Okay, good. Don't give her any information about any of the other girls that you are seeing. Here's my second question. Does she know where you live?
Yeah, because I've been seeing her for over a year now. So
right. Okay. I would just be a little extra careful. Because when a woman goes radio silent on you and you know she likes you more than you like her, there is a better than average expectation that she is going to start to escalate. Okay. And when girls when they start escalating, they start calling and texting more. If she comes over to your house and you guys smash, she might leave an earring. Is she ever in your car? Do you guys ever go places together?
Yeah, I mean, since it's been a year, yeah, we've gone to movies.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You need to start being on the lookout for her leaving things in your car, in your house, whatever the case may be. Because she thinks at this point that by eliminating all of the other girls, and she's already started this process, she says, well, what do you like about the other woman or the other women? Okay, well, I'm going to do what the other women are doing. Of course, everything except for, being a crazy fucking bitch, right? That was actually pretty good strategy by you. So she thinks that by asking you that question, okay, I'm going to do what this other woman or these other women are doing so he will like me more. When that doesn't work, she is then going to try to sabotage your relationships with the other women. Thankfully for you, she has no idea who this other woman or other women are, but at some point, Apollo, when she comes to your place, she's going to start leaving stuff there. Dude, I've heard some slick shit that girls have done trying to get that number one spot. Dude, there was one girl this didn't even happen to me. I actually heard this at a party. One bitch was fucking this guy that she really wanted to be in a relationship, but this is actually in Vegas, as a matter of fact. And she wrote like a post-it note, like, "Hey, I'm sleeping with your man. Oh my God, I'm sleeping with." She told the girl everything that was going on and left her number. She put it in his powder room. No, I'm sorry, that's snob talk. She put it in his bathroom. She put it not in the guest bathroom. The powder room is another word for you. Listen, when you own a house, you go into the house, there's the bathroom on the right or the left. That's called the powder room. So she knows that he doesn't use that powder room. He makes his girls pee and poop in the guest bathroom. She'll go to the guest bathroom and she'll put the sticky note under there, right under the lid. So when the girl opens up the toilet, there's the post-it note. She comes out, well, who the fuck is this? And it causes this kind of blow up. I'm not saying that this particular woman isn't going to escalate to that level, but after a year and now she's been angling for a relationship for 2 months and her girlfriends are in your ear, you really need to start being on the lookout for those kinds of I don't even know what the right word is, espionage type behaviors. Just be very, very careful.
Oh yeah. I mean, because my ex-wife did that when we were dating. She left like pantyhose, belt, lipstick, all kinds of shit when we were dating.
There you go.
But I would find it because I was sleeping with others, so I was vigilant.
Yeah.
And I would be like, because I didn't want to get. Then I wasn't as honest with women, even though I was seeing multiple. I wasn't as honest and forthcoming. Now, if somebody found something like, somebody left something one time, and I was just like, I'm seeing other women. So because I'm just at a point where I don't care. I just don't feel like hiding it or explaining. I just tell them straight out.
Yeah, I would start. I would also advise you, Apollo, that you're probably going to have to cut this girl loose at some point. Yeah. And when it happens, it is not, dude. It's been a year. Ooh, yeah. That one's going to be messy, man. That one's going to be messy, and that one's going to be sticky. So just be ready. Be ready.
And it was interesting what you had said about, her asking, what was it? About being number one, because she said it in that text exchange we were going back and forth. She's like, I thought I was number one.
Oh, there it was. I thought I was number one, dude. And here's another thing, guys. Every side chick, even let's say, and here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. What this other girl doesn't realize is that even though you're sleeping with other women, you basically have a bunch of side chicks. You don't have a main chick. You just have a bunch of side chicks. A side chick is a woman who knows you're sleeping with other women, whether that other woman is your girlfriend or your wife or another side chick. If a woman you are sleeping with is aware that you are sleeping, and I want you guys to understand this very, very clearly. I'm going to repeat this because you guys really, really need to know this. When a woman you are sleeping with is aware that you are sleeping with another woman, regardless of the other woman's status, that woman is a side chick, okay? She is a side chick 100%. If you have a girlfriend and she knows you have a girlfriend, she's a side chick. If you have a wife, she knows you have a wife, she's a side chick. If you have a side chick and the side chick knows you have a side chick, she's still a side chick. The reason I said all that is to say this, guys. The goal of the side chick is always to get the number one spot. And here's the thing. Most of the time, they don't enter into this situationship competing with this other woman for your, for your commitment, because they tell themselves and they tell you, and they really do believe this. Well, listen, man, I just want this to be casual. The sex is good. We have fun. No strings attached, blah, 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 blah. But like I said back at the beginning, the longer you spend time with someone sexually, the more likely the feelings are going to, the more likely feelings are going to develop. Most of the time, the girls' feelings develop faster than the guys' feelings, because sex is much more emotional for girls than it is for guys. Every once in a while, the guy does fall a little bit faster, but the main reason that the guy starts to fall faster is because he's either dropping or neglecting his other chicks and spending more time with this chick. He's not maintaining that abundance mentality. So you guys have to understand that, again, if a woman you are sleeping with is aware that you are sleeping with another woman, regardless of the status of that other woman, she is a side chick. And the ultimate end goal for every side chick, guys, this is 178% of side chicks. The number one goal is to eventually become the main chick by any means possible. That means they will do literally anything to blow up your relationship or relationships with this other woman or these other women, thinking that with no other options, you will then consolidate on her. But Apollo, tell me, I want you to tell me why that would end up blowing up in somebody's face. Let's just say, for example, that this crazy chick, managed to accomplish her goal, okay? She gets you, okay, all right, okay, you know what? I'm going to drop all the other girls. I like you the most. We're going to be in a relationship, blah, 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 blah. Tell me what is going to happen within a month of you doing that with that woman.
One, she'll probably start sleeping with me less. All of a sudden start playing games. Oh, I'm not feeling that great. I got a headache. It's basically going to turn me into a guy, that she'll start rejecting.
There you go. And why is that?
What she wants.
Why? Because there you go. Because you're doing what she wants, number one, and you are taking away the most powerful form of game, which is not pre-selection, gentlemen, but post-selection. Guys, we are all aware of the concept of pre-selection. And pre-selection is, dude, women don't want men that other women don't want, okay? This is why we tell you always keep that abundance mentality. Because once the side chick becomes the main chick and she thinks that you're not fucking anybody else, and you probably aren't at that point, now she's going to start rejecting you, because now she's thinking to herself, well, is he only with, because Apollo, what was the question she asked you? She says, okay, so you're with this other girl, so you're only with me because you're bored or you don't have anything to do?
Am I only seeing her when I have nothing else to do?
Right. And so if you start only seeing her, what then is she going to assume? That you have nothing else to do, which is unattractive to attractive women. At some point, you're going to have to drop this woman, because if you don't, my guess is that she's probably going to escalate. She's probably going to escalate these things pretty quickly. She really, really is.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. And one of the things I should have mentioned earlier, is that once, I texted her about picking up, because I left like a power strip or extension cord there, getting that, and she's like, who is this? I'm like, oh, okay, that's how it's going to be. Oh, and I have two phones. I changed the phone number of my second phone. So
yes, sir.
If you want to get in touch with me, you're going to have to work. Like basically either find my Facebook, Instagram, my name's spelled differently. So it's not hard to find, but because I'm like, if you're going to play games like that, I've said I'm King Petty, so I instantly just changed that second phone number.
There you go. Absolutely. Dude, that is awesome. That's some game I ain't never tried before. I usually just ghost the bitches, but damn, you talk about changing. See, this is funny. Back at the height of my Vegas player days, I always made fun of the two phones I had. I had my bro phone and my hoe phone. Wait, there was my bro phone, my hoe phone. Then I said, there's my bro phone and my booty phone. I had all kinds of names for like my dualistic. I would never have thought to change the number on the booty phone. That would have been a game changer for your boy back then.
It was that, but also it keeps, and then I instantly delete the number, and it keeps me from reaching out, where you get that weak moment.
There you go.
So I'm like, I know how I am. It's better delete the number, change the phone number, because then that way I know, wait, I can't text her from this number because she doesn't have it. So I don't want her to have it. So therefore, that's why I do it. And I've done it several times.
Good. So what's going to be your plan moving forward with this chick? I mean,
I
because
guess
I can
if he,
tell.
like
I
you
mean,
said,
I
gets
can
in
tell
touch.
you. Listen, I can tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but you're the one that's in this thing. So, what do you think would be? Well, let me ask you this: what is your? What do you want out of this relationship with this crazy woman right now? Do you just want to keep fucking her? I mean, what is it?
Like she's good company. I enjoy, like you said, keep sleeping with her. And I mean, we do enjoy each other's company. Go to the
Sure.
movies, go out and do things.
Yeah.
I would like it to continue as it was if she could just stop questioning everything.
Yeah.
All the time about angling for a relationship, or like we would be so good together, and you still want to keep seeing other ladies and all this stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I guess to me, when you know something from the beginning, it's like I know going in what it is. So I don't question stuff like that with
Of
anybody
course
else.
not.
I
Right.
don't want that questioned of me. So if she could just continue to do, but I know that's probably impossible for women to do when you're
Probably.
a guy seeing others. But if
Absolutely.
I could have it my way, that's what I would like.
One thing that I guarantee you she's probably going to do, and I would say she'll probably do this, I would say within the next 7 to 10 days or so, she's going to give you what we all call the speech. The speech is, okay, listen, if we don't make this thing of ours official, if we don't commit to each other, if we don't start, if we're not in a relationship together, then we are no longer going to be sleeping together. That is probably her next step in escalation. So right now she's trying the whole, I'm just gonna go radio silent. And girls are so stupid. They always they compare. They use the dumbest analogies. I remember one bitch was telling me it's almost like the rubber band thing. Like when you pull it like when you pull away, the other side comes. No, like people are not fucking rubber bands. You stupid bitch. Like come on. But this is the way girls think. This is the way they think. So she's going radio silent on you because she thinks that that's going to draw you to her like the pulled away rubber band. When that doesn't happen, when she does reach back out to you at some point in the very near future, she's going to give you the we need to be in a relationship or we're not going to have sex anymore. And at which point, you know what to say.
Oh yeah, it'll be a wrap.
Oh yeah, there you go. But when you tell her it's going to be a wrap, Apollo, it's never a wrap.
Right.
It's never a
Yeah,
wrap.
exactly.
It's never a wrap. Guys, and I want you guys to understand this. I have been given this ultimatum. Guys, I don't even know how many times I've been given this ultimatum, okay? We either need to make this thing official or we're not having sex anymore. Guys, dude, 38 times out of 11, okay? I don't know what percentage that is, but it's over 100%. They never leave when you tell them, oh, okay, well, I guess that's it. When a girl says to you, we need to make this official or we're going to stop having sex, all right, well, I hate to see you go because, I like the time we're spending together, but if that's really the way you feel, then I guess this is over. Good luck and good luck in the future. They never, ever, 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 ever leave. Ever, guys. 50 years ago, she probably would have if she was in that situation in the first place. Here's another situation. Here's the thing, Apollo. This is something else. This is something that a lot of guys usually don't realize is if you're in a relationship with a woman, okay, and she characterizes it as a toxic relationship, and you're cheating on her all the time and blah, 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 blah. Guys, she will not leave you until you stop cheating. Let me repeat that. She will not leave you until you stop cheating. Women leave when you stop cheating. Case in point, Apollo, I don't know if you saw the Temptation Island quasi reunion.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Look, for those of you guys, and I'll let you finish off after this. For those of you guys who are not aware of this, we just got done breaking down the latest season of Temptation Island. And one of the couples was, I've already forgotten the bitch's name. What was her name? The blonde bitch? Ashley and Grant. It was Ashley and Grant. Grant and Ashley, the blonde, but she was blonde, big tits. Grant was a notorious cheater, blah, 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 blah. Okay. They went through the whole Temptation Island, experience. Grant, of course, got with another girl. Ashley's like, that's it. I'm out of here. We're done. Da, 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 da. Guys, guess what? Ashley and Grant got back together almost immediately after filming was taken over. Here's the thing. Grant eventually stopped cheating on Ashley. He really gave her, he told her, all right, Ashley, I love you. I'm going to stop all the cheating, blah, 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 blah. Ashley ended up leaving him. She ended up leaving him. Grant had cheated on Ashley their entire relationship, including on Temptation Island for all the world to see. She took him back time after time after time again. She kept taking him back. The minute Grant literally opened himself up and genuinely committed all the way to Ashley, that's when she decided that she had fallen out of love with him. Gentlemen, this is what we are dealing with out here in the dating world. Women these days are fucked up. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's right that we have to do this, but that's the way it is. Please continue.
That very thing happened with my ex-wife, whereas when we were dating and then married, I cheated a lot.
Yep.
We went to counseling. I went to my own therapy, and, I stopped 2013. I had stars like, what, I'm going to fix this. So I stopped, we're in counseling. Everything's going good. At one point she said, "You're finally being the husband I want you to be." 6 weeks later, she cheats on me while I'm being the husband she wants me to be, out of her mouth. And then that's when we separated and got divorced.
Unbelievable. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't she cheat on you at your own house?
Yes.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So she literally tells you, you're finally being the husband I want you to be. And
yes.
How does she reward her lifelong list of requests from one Apollo? Well, of course she cheats on you. Women do not leave. Women leave when you stop cheating, gentlemen. This is just how it works. Ay.
And then, as ever since we've been divorced and I've been doing my thing with other women, she's been trying to get after me this whole time. So,
bro, guys, by the way, yes, Apollo's ex-wife is basically dude, Apollo's ex-wife is almost as bad as Devin's ex-husband. Like, dude, she thinks about him all. Dude, Brian thinks about Devin all the time. This fucking loser created a Reddit thread trying to troll me. I have no idea why. Somebody put it in the chat. Well, is he upset? Trying to get revenge for Devin? No, the reason why Brian is upset is because he is a loser and his now ex-wife looks and is a better person than she ever was with him. That's a lot. That's a lot for a man to handle, but you still got to handle it. Your ex-wife is almost as bad as Devin's ex-husband because guys, Apollo, dude, you've been telling me this for 2 years, bro. For 2 years, your wife
has been divorced for 10 years.
Dude, unbelievable. For 2 years, this man's ex-wife has moved heaven and earth, directly or indirectly, trying to get back with this guy. This is unbelievable. This is just how it works, guys.
At one point, her and her girlfriend showed up at my house unannounced to see, like she said, well, I needed to get my key back. It was really to see if there was another woman here.
Exactly.
Now, we've been divorced a decade.
Right.
And she shows up. And she knows I've been seeing other women. It's not a secret.
And what exactly was she going to do if she saw another woman there?
I have no idea, but
He
was just like, and then she's always saying, "Oh, I don't mind meeting these other women." What she really wants to see is, do they look better than me? Because anybody I've ever dated, they've never seen. My kids have never met them because they haven't been serious. But she's always like, "Why don't you introduce me?" Like, for what? Like, are you trying to hide the fact that we're good friends? I'm like, I tell them I'm over here all the time. You don't need to meet them. It's because she wants to see the competition.
There you go. That's what it is. Wow. I swear to God, guys, this is why we teach what we teach. Okay, what's next on the, what's your next question, Apollo?
That was mainly it. Just, find out the best way to handle, this, because this just happened, actually Friday. When all that kicked off.
Oh, wow. Okay, so just to sort of recap, this is a woman that you've been seeing for a little around a year.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of months, she has really started to verbalize her desire for a committed relationship. You keep putting her off. She keeps squeezing you. Finally, she asks you, okay, well, what does she have that I don't, or what do you like about her? You told her, well, here's what I like about her. She ain't you. She's not up my ass all the goddamn time. She's not texting me, 5 minutes after she calls and I don't answer, asking me if I'm dead or in the hospital. And pardon me. And she still hasn't stopped. And so what she has now done is she has gone radio silent on you.
Yeah.
And so to just sort of summarize, what I think is probably going to happen, she's going to give you the talk. We either make this thing official or we're going to stop having sex. When you tell her, well, nice knowing you, she's not going to leave. She is going to stick around. When and if that happens, that is when she is going to start escalating her efforts as far as securing your commitment. And guys, you know what the saying goes? The famous saying goes, all's fair in love and war. And in a lot of cases, guys, love for women is war. That's the way they see it. And you know what? They should see it that way because Because as far as a woman is concerned, if she doesn't have a man on some level, she is a fucking failure, and they fucking know it. This is why they do the dirtiest, underhanded, sneakiest, most trifling shit to try to secure your commitment, and that is right around the corner for you, Apollo, if you do not handle this.
Dude, that's why I listen to what you teach, because literally, especially lately, like, is any man ever going to love me?
Right.
Am I going to be worthy of love? It's like those underhanded tactics. It's like, yeah, that's what you can say.
And this is funny because she's thinking out loud, right? What she thinks she's doing is she thinks she's trying to indirectly shame you into saying, no. You'll find somebody. You've got qualities. And then, of course, what she'll say is like, oh, why won't you? And then you guys have an argument that way. But what she doesn't realize is that she is honestly thinking out loud. This is what goes through every woman's mind once they begin to or start to hit the wall. Will a man ever love me? So when they get a man that they actually really like and could see themselves loving, they will stop at literally nothing to try to secure your commitment, up to and including illegal activities such as stalking. Be on the lookout for that.
We talked about it. I was like, don't ever, show up at my house. That's any woman. Like,
oh, hell no. Don't you ever.
Because that would be an instant, whether we're talking or not. You show up unannounced. It's over. No more communication. I don't care how many times you want to swallow me. You do whatever. No, you don't show up and play something.
Oh no, that is definitely not the case. Yeah. So just understand the talk is coming. Okay. Because eventually she is going to reach out when you don't. The talk is coming when you give her the correct answer. Pardon me. She's not going to leave. But at that point, you guys might have a week or two of now after you tell her, all right, well, after you tell her no to her ultimatum, you guys are going to have great sex for at least the next 2 weeks. But I'm telling you right now, that's going to drop off and the obsessive stalker illegal shit is going to start to happen. You just got to be on the lookout for that. So just understand that at some point, like this relationship, Apollo, it's run its course. It's run its course. Yeah. It's coming to the end, and I think you sense that. Unfortunately, situationships almost never end clean. They almost always end messy. So just be ready, man. Just be ready.
That's the truth, and that's why I think last time I asked you about that, because I told you about Mary, how everything was going good 7-8 months. Then out of nowhere, this text, I can't do this anymore. I've been, wrestling with this. It was like we had great. We saw, Wolverine and Deadpool twice. We saw other movies. And it's just out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell? But because it's been a situationship, and me and her, I told you about her for, off and on for a couple years. And I think, like you said, they never end pretty. They're always Katie, the birthday card thing, and came back.
The Mother's Day card, actually.
Right, Mother's Day. And then when she came back, everything is great. And then we're supposed to spend New Year's Eve together. She sends me a long text. I can't do this anymore. Don't hate me.
And then you guys had other plans. She still made plans even after that. You guys made plans after that, and then it was short. She's like, "You're gonna hate me, but I can't do it."
Yeah,
unbelievable. And that all started. Why? Because you gave her that Mother's Day card. You actually got thoughtful. Think about that, Apollo. Like, this is what we are dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. This is why the dating market is ass backwards. The better you treat them, the worse they treat you. It is a tale as old as feminism itself. I don't know how many more stories you guys have to hear before this starts to get through your thick skulls, guys. I really don't. I'll give you the last word, Apollo.
So then I guess the question would be, because of that, when you decided, like you said, to be with Devin, how did you go from, like you said, doing all that, but then obviously you're going to start treating somebody well that earns it in that, and then keeping it going to where you're still in a relationship? Because when I've dealt with it, obviously maybe it's different because it's situationships instead of relationships. They ended just, like you said, badly. So how do you transition that to treat them better but keep it going?
Yeah, you have to, and this is something that I tell my guys all the time, and this is what I think they used to call this the golden ratio or the golden ratios, but I don't even know if that's even a thing anymore. Guys, this is all about percentages, okay? The way I kept Devin on her toes was that anytime she did something very nice for me, like did something thoughtful, did something that showed me that she was thinking about me, when she did something nice for me, okay, I didn't do anything nice for her. I waited until she did 3 nice things for me, and then I rewarded her. Okay. So when you want, and this is reward versus punishment. And yes, I'm using the word punishment. So when your woman does 3 nice things for you, you do 1 nice thing for her. Listen, if you've got what you think is a good one, you can go 2 out of 3. Never ever go tit for tat. Don't go blow for blow, so to speak, with favors and this and that and the other. Because remember, you are doing her a favor by giving her your commitment. Okay. And the reason why she is doing these nice things for you is to thank you for giving her your commitment. That being said, women are human. It is nice for them to have something nice done for them every once in a while. So I would say for every 10 nice things she does for you, do between 3 and 4 nice things for her. Now, on the other hand, if your woman steps out of line, if she does something that threatens your relationship, whatever the case may be, you must punish her no less than 100% of the time. And guys, this is why it is not easy to be in relationships today. Because you guys know I love Devin very, very much. I really, really do. I didn't like having to reprimand her. I didn't like it. I didn't like making her cry. I didn't like raising my voice at her. I didn't like withdrawing my attention. But I knew that if I did not do those things, eventually she was going to lose respect for me. So I lost, quote unquote, a lot of battles to win ultimately the war. A lot of guys also live by this credo. Don't ever go to bed upset with each other. No, fucking go to bed mad at each other. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what. Look, we have to talk this out. I don't want to go to bed upset. Blah blah blah. No, Let her stew. Let her stew in her guilt. Let her stew in that punishment, guys. So again, you reward between 30 and 40% of the time. You must punish / reprimand no less than 100% of the time, because I promise you, if you do it 99% of the time, that 1%, that's the margin that she's going to use to get you up out the door. So the way I did it is I made sure and Devin's in the chat now. You can play with the ratios in terms of rewarding her is concerned, but guys, where the bodies are buried is how you respond to her misbehaving. You can ask Devin every single time, without exception, no matter where we were. If she said, or looked a certain way, I checked her every single time. And guys, here's the thing. You're going to have to be okay with your bitch being pissed off at you, okay? You're going to have to be okay with your woman giving you the silent treatment. You're going to have to be okay with your woman being mad at you. Guys, don't be afraid to piss off women, okay? Because the men that are afraid to piss off their women, those are the men that are in bad relationships. And so just like when you were saying, in your situation, Apollo, when you're, or in my situation rather, when you're trying to sort of transition that, make sure. Don't be meathead red pill guy. Don't be like, well, yeah, listen, I let her suck my dick and she's no, guys, no. Women are people too, okay? For better or worse, women are people too. If your woman spends all week, doing nice things for you, dude, take her out on a Saturday night, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not simping, because the definition of a simp is a man who gives an undeserving woman access to his time, energy, attention, and resources. If your woman is a good woman to you all week long, she has earned that good treatment. That being said, don't reward her for doing shit that she should be doing. Oh my God, I'm going to take you out to dinner because you wore the red panties tonight. No, bitch, you're supposed to wear a red thong every goddamn night. Man, I'm going to take you out to dinner because I never saw the bottom of this beer. Bitch, you're supposed to go and get me beer. Man, I'm going to tell you what, you've made dinner for me all week long. No. These are all things she should be doing. When she goes above and beyond 3 to 4 times, that is when you reward her. But again, to answer your question, go back to what you were saying. The way I maintain that level of respect and clarity is I never, ever, ever let her get away with anything ever. And you guys have heard a lot of my stories over the years, man. There was this one thing, you might remember this, Apollo. Devin and I were in a bowling league. We had just moved to New Jersey, and everything was fine and everything. And she gets to laughing and giggling with one of our teammates. Slapped him on the arm. Poof! I said, grab your shit, we're leaving. And the two guys are like, wait, you're what? Guys, put us down, whatever the scores are, whatever, we're fucking leaving. I told Devin, I said, you do that one more fucking time, you can go live with that motherfucker. She didn't touch or talk to him since then, okay? Guys, I cannot tell you how many stories, how many situations with Devin that I have been in that I had to check her. And guys, this doesn't mean, I'm not saying be mean, I'm not saying be a tyrant, but guys, you got to understand your woman is going to test you at every fucking turn. And if you do not reprimand her when a situation is reprimandable, at some point she's going to lose respect for you. So that's how I did it, Apollo, is I rewarded at 30 to 40%, I reprimanded at 112%.
Okay. Yeah, and see, I guess I worry about that part because I did with my ex, I see where I went wrong now.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't reprimand because it was just like I was just trying to keep the peace because I didn't feel like arguing, and it wasn't that I was trying to be a pushover. Just like I don't feel like him tonight.
No, I do, bro. Listen, and again, I get it. I totally understand that. And I've been married before. I was in the same position. I wanted to keep the peace. But as you are beginning to understand now in this player phase that you're in, Apollo, being in a good relationship as a man requires you to do things that you don't want to do, things that you don't like, things that you're uncomfortable with, and things that sort of make you cringe, right? You have to do you have got to do the same thing in your relationship. You got to do the same things in a relationship because a lot of times and I agree with you. You just want to keep the peace, but sometimes you're going to say, "Oh my God, she did or said XYZ again. I'm tired. I just worked fucking 14 hours today." Or in my case, I give an example. I'm tired. I've done 3 podcasts. I just got done with O'Shea Duke Jackson, who's still talking shit, blah, 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 blah. And Devin went and did or said this. I could have easily just thrown in the towel and said, you know what? I've reprimanded her about this before. I don't feel like doing it. No, I let her and Apollo, dude, I was fucking exhausted. I had talked for 10 hours that day, but I still did and said what needed to be done and said. And so you have to, if you want, guys, if you want to be successful with women consistently, you're going to have to understand that you are consistently going to have to do things that you are uncomfortable with and things that you don't want to do. This is just how it goes. If you're starting to catch feelings for the big titty blonde who swallows your kids all the time, but she belongs to the streets, guys, you're not gonna want to drop her. She comes over and she wears the fucking heels and the red panties and she calls you all these names, makes you feel like a god. Guess what? If you start catching feelings for that bitch, at some point she's going to start withdrawing those things because now she sees that you actually like her more than she likes you. You gotta let her go, even when you don't want to. And kudos to you, Apollo, for changing the number because I've been in that position before. I've had a rotation of 2-3 girls. All of a sudden, I have no rotation. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get laid. All right, let me text Christina back. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, and now I'm in a thing with Christina again, guys. That was game gold there by you. Change the phone number to your hoe phone every time.
Yeah, because it's burned me. When I texted them back, It might happen, but now they think they got me because I chased them.
There you go.
And they start playing games instantly. And I'm like, fuck, I should have never texted her. I should have never. So one day, a couple years ago, it came to me, I'm changing this number. And that way it just forced me, it forced me to okay, now I can't text her anymore because he doesn't have this number, I don't have her number, and I don't want her to have this number. So that's what I had to do.
Check this out. That's perfect because now you don't have each other's contact information. It's a little more complicated with WhatsApp and Instagram and all that. Yeah. Here's a game tip for you guys. And you only deploy this strategy in a desperate situation. And guys, this is next level game here. This is not for guys who are just starting out. This is next level game. Guys who have been successful with women for an extended period of time. Anytime I got weak and wanted to reach out to a former booty call, do you know what I would do? I would jerk off to her twice. I'd put her in my spank bank and I'd masturbate to the things that we did. And you do that twice. All of a sudden, my resolve to pick up my phone, now it's strong. Because why do you want to call her? Because you want to get fucking laid, right? Obviously, getting laid and masturbating are two very different things. But if you get that out of your system, that's going to make you far less susceptible to calling her. Now, obviously, masturbation has some very adverse side effects. This is why I tell you guys never deploy this. Unless it is, in other words, break glass in case of emergency. That is the only time I will ever give you guys permission to masturbate, okay? So if then if you're a player, you're in a rotation, you're in a rotational slump, and you know Carrie Ann is gonna come over and 3 texts or less. She's gonna give you all 3 holes. She's gonna let you turn her into a bowling ball. Guys, don't do it. Don't do it, because just like Apollo said, it's almost like in the sales game, whoever speaks first after a long silence loses. You might get the pussy, you might get the ass, but eventually you're going to lose because she knew that you reached out to her. Guys, jerk off to her twice and then wait 24 hours, and I promise you that feeling should probably go away.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. But like you said, for me, that's where I got, caught up with a girl. I did that, text me, and then it was just like, hooked up for a minute. Then she was just like, oh, so you chased me, started playing games. And I was like, I got to change the number next time I do.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what, Apollo, that is next level fucking game. I would have never, ever thought to do that. Holy moly. Well, listen, if it doesn't work out with Devin and I decide, I'm going to tell you what, dude, if it doesn't work out with Devin, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm never going to be in a relationship again, dude. No fucking way, man. No way. But if I'm ever back on, back on the player market, I'm definitely going to take that game tip. That I can give you credit for that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it just worked out. But, I always appreciate all the information you give me, because it's spot on. It mirrors my life's things that I'm experiencing, have experienced, gone through. I'm sure I will experience again.
Absolutely.
And, like you said, it just, at times when it's good with girl, it makes it tough. Because like you said, with Mary, the reason I had to change my number, even then, back in August, from her is because I knew I would pick up that phone and text her. And I was like, I gotta change this number.
Bro, I wanted to pick up the phone for you, man. I was like, yo, call Mary. Don't call her. Call this bitch. Dude, trust me.
When I was on vacation in Tennessee, you were like, she's done. You cannot go back to her.
Oh, I know. I told you that, didn't I? Oh, my God. That was fucking, oh, my God. Oh, with the family reunion and everything? Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was so crazy. I think the reason why you and I speak the same language in a lot of cases is because you and I are just about the same age.
Yeah, I'm 47. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 47. I'll be 48 in August. And we're of the same generation. We're both East Coast sports fans. Speaking of which, real quick before I get you out of here, what are your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders dropping all the way to the Saints? What are we doing? Dude, Shedeur, to me, Shedeur Sanders could end up like Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
Yeah.
Never forget, Mitchell Trubisky. The Chicago Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky before the Houston Texans drafted Deshaun Watson and before the Kansas City Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes. Now, Deshaun Watson, the early returns on him were good. Now, these days, not so much. Probably the worst contract in the history of probably the second worst contract in the history of the NFL, second to Dak Prescott's 4 years, $240 million contract. What are your thoughts on Shedeur, dropping in the draft, man?
You think the number 9 to the Saints?
Yeah.
I think a lot of this, honestly, is about his dad. I think a lot of this, the hatred for Prime, because his brashness is, he didn't have to work to get that job in Colorado, even though he did. But because he had privileges that most people don't. I think a lot of people don't like it. We saw in the college game with other coaches, the Colorado State coach, and I honestly think a lot of this is to get Prime. The same thing with Lonzo Ball when he came in the league and Patrick Rivers. We get you because of your dad.
Dude. And for the record, dude, I love me some LeVar Ball. That was LeVar was my boy. Oh my God.
Right.
Here's something else. Here's something else that these GMs aren't used to. Shedeur Sanders is already rich. Okay, yeah, he's already rich. He's already got $7 million. He made $7 million playing football for Colorado last year. Carson Beck is going to get $10 million for playing football for the University of Miami this year. I think Cam Ward got $9 million last year. So that's another way NIL changes things. And because Shedeur is already rich, he's not desperate. He's rich. His dad is rich. His brother's rich. Unfortunately, his best friend is not going to be rich if he marries that hoe. But he's not. He's. Oh my God, dude. Dude. Don't get me started. And I think we're not going to see that bitch anywhere near the draft. If I'm her, I go underground. That's just me.
Right.
That's just me.
Right.
That's just.
But I agree with you, right? Because of his dad, and then because he's not coming in as hungry as other people. Not that he's not going to work, because he's worked. He's done all that stuff. And the things that they don't talk about is that a lot of his NIL money he helped out teammates with, was given it. But nobody wants to talk about that.
Nope.
But he's just brash. He's arrogant. He thinks he knows it all. It's like, well, if Prime was my dad, I probably would have a little bit of that too. But Prime worked. Like, people don't realize he
Dude.
never drank or smoked his whole
Nope.
career, studied
Nope.
film, was a student of the game. He just was brass because he had the talent to back it up. And that's all it is.
I think at some point, Dion is going to end up in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be at Colorado for too much longer. Yeah, they gave him the extension, but Dion at some point is going to come to the NFL. So
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that him falling, I think, is just strictly, okay, they think he's arrogant because I've heard the anonymous GM.
Yeah, he probably is.
To a degree, I'm sure he is. But because of that and his dad, because he doesn't need the NFL like it, he could walk away and be set for life right now.
Exactly.
So, I think that's a shame because he's a heck of a quarterback. And some team, I think, is going to get a great quarterback where the other teams are going to be kicking themselves 5 years from now.
And I'm going to tell you what, that fast track in New Orleans, that is tailor-made for a guy like Shedeur Sanders because a Hall of Fame quarterback who was also pinpoint accurate, who didn't have a howitzer arm, made a career in New Orleans.
Right.
And he wasn't very athletic either. That dude's name is Drew Brees. And last I checked, Shedeur Sanders is a better athlete than Drew Brees ever was. So we'll see what happens.
I was hoping, if he got past the Saints at 9, I think he could have fell to us at 21.
God.
Dude,
and that was the story early on that he might fall to Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Bro, Shedeur, you got DK, you got George Pickens on one side, DK on the other. Bruh.
Yes.
Oh my God, man. Do you think the Steelers should trade up?
If he gets past the Saints, they should definitely trade up. It's not something we generally do, but to get him because you can't afford somebody else coming back in front of you, grabbing him. Like if the Saints don't get him at 9, but they're like, oh, we'll trade back in at 18, ahead of the Steelers. So I definitely think they should. And
what if I'm the Dolphins? What if I'm the Miami Dolphins, right? I'm the Miami Dolphins at number 12, right? And I give you a call. I call up, what is Pittsburgh's? Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. I call up the Rooney family. I'm talking to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, no more Khan.
And we're rapping back and forth. What if they tell you, look, man, we're going to need some compensation, but there's another player we want included, and that player's name is TJ Watt. Do you squeeze the trigger, yes or no?
Yeah.
Wow, no hesitation. Woo! Okay.
Because a franchise quarterback can do more for you than TJ Watt. I love him. I don't want to get rid of him.
We haven't won a playoff game with him. Of course not.
We haven't won a playoff game with him.
Look, my favorite player of all time is Brian Dawkins. I have always had a weak spot for defensive players. That's why I was like, we need to pay Zach Bond $25 million a year. This is why Howie Roseman is where he is, and this is where I am right here. If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm like, I would have a very hard time giving up TJ Watt. But for Shedeur, I think I probably would.
And it's listening to the radio, a lot of fans I thought would be like that too, but a lot of fans are like, they're like me. They're like, look, we don't want to give up TJ Watt by any means, but if we can get a franchise quarterback or a haul of picks in order to fix this franchise to get us where we need to go, it's worth it, and because we haven't won anything with him, are we going to continue to not win with him with another big contract? Because now he saw with what's his name? Garrett got in Cleveland.
Oh, Miles! Jesus Christ! Oh my God! They gave Miles. I think Miles Garrett's going to request the trade another couple of years. That's not going to last long.
Yeah. And because T.J. Watt's in the last year of his deal, he's going to want that kind of money, and we cannot afford to pay that. And especially for a position that we love to have, but we can spread that money around. Like you said, if we can get a Shedeur, we can add other pieces. Even if we had to trade T.J. Watt, I think it's like the ends justify the means. And I think we would get more out of getting Shedeur than having TJ.
I'm going to tell you what, man. If I'm the Steelers, man, I'm starting to make phone calls right now, man. If I'm the Steelers. Oh, my God. Apollo, always good to talk to you, man. Appreciate your insight. And I appreciate your wisdom, man. Like you're actually up here dropping game as well, man. So I appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, thanks, Donovan. I always appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. That is Apollo. I live vicariously through Apollo. Apologies for the sports talk. Okay, let us go to Christopher. Let's go to Christopher P. Now, Chris, if I'm not mistaken, you're the guy. How's the sleeve tattoo going, by the way? Is that still going on?
I'm a different person.
Oh, you're another Chris P. Okay. Well, tips on how to be... Okay, I don't know what that says. Okay, so what's going on, Chris? What's up?
Yeah, the B is actually Beats. B-E-A-T. My bad.
Oh, Beats. That's all right.
Yes, I'm a type.
That's good.
So what's going on with me is I've I've been dealing with this problem for a long time that I was thinking that you could give my advice on how to beat. So I've been dealing with a PMO addiction. I'm sure you know what that stands for. Porn,
PM.
masturbation, all that stuff.
Oh, yes, 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 absolutely. Yeah. Okay, yep.
Yeah. So I didn't let it hinder my social life. I'm still out dating and everything, but I found out that this was a problem that I needed to fix. This was a reality of mine when I tried when I got three different women in the bed and tried to fuck them, and then nothing downstairs was going on, and
Ooh,
and
yeah,
uh,
man.
and it really hit me when this woman that I was in the bed with, she asked me this question that really embarrassed me. She asked, "What can I do to keep you hard?"
Oh my God. Ay, 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 ay. Now that's a
Yeah,
very good question. It's good that she asked you that question because it shows that she actually cares about it. But my God, what can I do to keep you hard, man? So let me ask you this. How many times are you masturbating a day?
like multiple. I would say like more than like three.
Okay. Okay, so more than 3. And how long are you masturbating? Like 5,
Uh,
10 minutes? Is it hours at a time? Whatever the case may be.
like the time varies, like 5-10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah. The way to beat, I'll tell you how I beat. I'll tell you how I beat my porn addiction. It was not easy. And let me ask you this: how old are you, first of all?
27.
Okay, so you certainly don't need testosterone replacement therapy. Yeah, the only way to beat this, my friend, it is straight up cold turkey. It is straight up cold turkey. Now, there is a there is sort of a there is a way that you can and here's how I did it. And eventually I did go cold turkey. Have you ever heard of edging?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever done it? Have you ever tried it?
Yeah. Yes, I have tried it, but it's never become successful because the temptation
Right.
is so hard for me to
Absolutely.
like not do it to where I always give
Yes.
in. Yeah, like you mentioned
Absolutely.
before about like the cold turkey thing, I tried that, but I always end up relapsing like a few days later.
Of
I think
course.
the
And
farthest
then
I
and,
went
and
was
here's
like
the
a
thing,
week.
Chris. I promise you, after you relapse 4 days later, you always feel like absolute shit right after you do it. You always regret it.
Facts.
You always regret it. Now, here's the thing. It's not going to happen overnight, Chris, okay? But what you're going to have to do, and this is going to take some practice and it is going to take some discipline. The way to stop this is to actually edge, okay? Now, for those of you guys who have no idea what edging is masturbating right up until the point to where you get to the point of no return where you're going to ejaculate and then stopping, okay? And then stopping. That is the only that. Now here's the thing: when you edge, gentlemen, okay, you're going to be very, very tempted to go to completion. You're going to be very, very you're going to be very tempted to do that. But if you can just hold off, on actually ejaculating, not only will you increase your time in bed, and guys, I'm not a doctor. I can only speak from my experience as far as this is concerned. The chat has disappeared. You still with me, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I'm
sorry
still
about that.
here.
Okay, now obviously I'm not a doctor, but I'll tell you how this helped me. For me, edging not only helped me in the bed sexually, it actually helped me to last longer. Have you ever heard of Kegels?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, really? Okay. So there is a muscle. And I don't know where it is, but it's down in that area. It's called the pubicoccygeus. Okay. The pubicoccygeus, obviously the short word for it is cock. This is why, in porn, oh, give me your big cock, whatever the case may be. The pubicoccygeus, if you want to know what the pubicoccygeus is, Chris, start peeing and then stop it midstream. You have found your PC muscle, your pubicoccygeus muscle, okay? What Kegels are is flexing that pubicoccygeus muscle multiple times. You flex it 10 times. There are all sorts of PC muscles and Kegel activities that you can do to strengthen what they call your pelvic floor. Strengthening your pelvic floor, Chris, also helps you with premature ejaculation. This helped me with my premature ejaculation. So edging is activating your pubococcygeus muscle, because you know the muscle that you use to stop trying to ejaculate. Am I wrong?
Right.
Right. That is the muscle that you need to strengthen. Now, I have heard that as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to Google this. I'm actually going to Google this right now. I have heard is edging bad for you? Now, fortunately for me, okay, I didn't suffer any side effects from edging. The only or negative side effects. The only negative quote unquote side effect that you can get from it is that you build up your PC muscle like too strong, and you are unable to ejaculate. But not only did edging help me with my erection quality, my premature ejaculation, it also helped me with size maintenance. Okay, it also helped me with size maintenance by getting all the blood in there. And some guys, dude, I've actually read some forums where guys are like, dude, like sometimes like it feels a little bit bigger down there. No, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that edging makes your dick bigger, but a lot of people have experienced and reported that. So edging for me and exercising my PC muscles, via Kegels, that's the way I beat porn. I have not watched porn in 10 years. I stopped watching porn, Chris, when I was 37 years old, man. And it is honestly, it's probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And so what you're going to have to understand now, here's the thing. When you first, there's the chat. Okay, the chat just reappeared. So what you're going to have to do, Chris, is, how can I put this? I'm trying to put this in Saber89. I see your Rumble rant there. I'm going to get to you in just a second. You ever watched My 600 Pound Life? You ever seen these shows or these specials where these people are 600, 700, 800 pounds and they're addicted to food and they got to go and get the surgery and all that good stuff? You ever seen those?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And I'll never forget, I was watching this one episode where, he was a dude, he was like 500 and something pounds. And this is what he said. He said, the most difficult thing about being addicted to food is that you are addicted to something that is essential for you to live. You can't just quit food cold turkey, right? You understand what I mean? You have to eat food in order to live, and so now you have to control your portions. This is essentially, and now obviously we don't need to watch pornography, right? Obviously that's not the case. But what this does, Chris, and this is how it worked with me. So what I would do is I would edge 2 to 3 times per day, and I would do it to porn, all right? And here's the thing, in the beginning, Chris, every once in a while, I'd get tempted and I'd blow my load. I'd go past the point, all right, I feel like crap, and then I'd try it again. Eventually, I think probably after 2.5 to 3 weeks, eventually I got to a point to where I could edge successfully. Not only because I was exercising my quote unquote discipline muscle, but because by doing Kegels, it was also helping me to strengthen, because you'll be edging sometimes and you'll have the discipline to stop it, but you don't have the pelvic floor muscles to stop the ejaculation, right? Game over at that point. So you're going to have to understand, Chris, is that it's not going to happen overnight. This is something that has to be practiced again and again and again. Here's what happened with me. It got to a point where I was edging 2 to 3 times per day, okay? At some point, Chris, porn, it's not that porn was never arousing to me, it just wasn't as much of a temptation, because psychologically I knew I wasn't going to get the ejaculation payoff. You understand what I mean? That's what helped for me psychologically for me. So my advice to you, Chris, my advice to you, Chris, I would try edging. Just because you fail once, twice, 10 times, don't give up. Try edging once a day, then try edging. Actually, how you said you're jerking off 3 times a day. Try edging 3 times per day. 3 times per day on the days and times you normally, fire up your laptop and for some chicken choking fun. Fire it up. And dude, and if it takes you 10 seconds to get to the point of no return, guess what? That's when you squeeze it. So I would research edging and Kegels, and that's how I beat pornography. But at some point, Chris, you're going to have to quit cold turkey. But edging and Kegels are edging and Kegels gives you the ability to still consume porn without suffering the physiological side effects of watching and consuming porn.
Okay, and in that meantime, what would you recommend I should do as far as like regarding the sex? Should I like just tell women no to like fucking them, or
Yes.
should I still like attempt to try?
No,
You
I
know,
would take a break. I'd take a break from pussy for a little while, man. Because at some point, if your dick stops working, it then really becomes psychological. Like, you might be all good downstairs, but then you're thinking, oh my God, this is like the third girl this week that I haven't been able to get up for. So yeah, you need to stop all sexual activities with all women. That's what you need to do. You really, and what you also have to do, Chris, is you need to look at pornography not as a release, but right now you need to look at it as a tool. And again, this is the only. This is funny. This is the only time I am endorsing the use of pornography is when you're trying to quit porn, is by edging. When you edge to porn for long enough, something in your brain makes it a little less desirable after a while. Chris, you with me?
yeah, I'm still here. I think you
Okay,
just
all
froze
right.
for a second. Uh, but okay, that's so edging and
Edging and
and
Kegels.
strengthen the and they go yeah,
Kegels.
Kegels
Yeah, yeah.
strengthen the pelvic muscle. Okay,
Yep. Listen,
that
do
definitely
extensive.
sounds very easier said than done.
It is easier. It is easier said than done, Chris. But both techniques are highly effective because, dude, you don't want to be like, dude, you're only 27 years old and you've got erectile dysfunction, man. Erectile dysfunction didn't really used to be a problem that plagued men until we were well into our 40s. You're not even to your 30s yet, man. So it's very important, very important that you beat this porn addiction, because at some point, now here's the thing. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. You watch porn long enough, eventually you get to that point of no return, which means, and this point of no return can be pretty dark. Number one, your point of no return is that you cannot achieve an erection unless you are watching pornography. When you get to that point, you start watching more extreme pornographic acts, right? After a while, then you have something called, oh, I forgot what it was called. It was called not lockjaw, but lock fist. Help me out in the chat, guys. It's the condition where you have to grip your penis so hard to feel anything down there. Like, you don't want to get to that point. You don't want to get to that point to where your dick has to feel like it's in a vice grip and you're watching some girl get choked out while getting butt fucked by six guys for you to get off. That is not, and at that point, Chris, now we're talking depression, suicide, bipolar, psychological damage. Listen, man, your sexual health is very important. And I know a lot of sexual topics are taboo. That is for sure. But if you are not, we see what happens when girls aren't healthy mentally, sexually. We see what happens to them. Dude, the same happens with those guys as well. So, death grip, that's it. No, kung fu grip. There it. Oh, dude, white knuckle. Yeah, there it is. So that's my advice to you. Listen, I tried cold turkey. It didn't work. But when a buddy of mine said, "Hey, man, how about you just try to edge to pornography?" and eventually, I was able to stop it.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna for sure take that advice. I'm gonna go in and try it. I may slip up a few times, but
No,
I'm gonna give it up.
absolutely. Hold on, I'm going to keep you on here because I've actually got some pretty good advice, and you're going to get mixed results here. So Macintosh user on the Rumble site says he's got to stop masturbating, no sexual contact with women, and get on a natural supplement like Harder Than Last Time by HTLT. I have no idea what that is, but I'm sure you could probably Google that. Ooh, Ghoster says you will be, read a book, work out, stay busy. Yep. Justin Consciousness says monk mode. Yeah, there are many ways to beat porn. There really are. The best way to beat pornography is obviously cold turkey. But if you're really super duper addicted to porn, you're gonna have to do something.
Oh yeah, and there's a problem that I've been dealing with since since I would say middle school was like the first time I ejaculated, and
Oh
it's been
wow.
an on and off thing ever since.
Sure. Yeah, this is not an on. Yeah, it's been an on and off thing ever since. But you've had a porn addiction since you were in middle school. You need to tell yourself that because it's
Yeah.
taken you. It's taken you this long to get to this point. You gotta understand it is not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy to stop, but you can do it. Jeepers Creepers says zinc. Yep. Ghoster says you will be happier being celibate, bro. Here's another thing. Here's something else you should Google: seminal retention. Seminal retention. Seminal retention is the act of never ejaculating, whether you are sexually active or not. There are a lot of detractors to seminal retention because some people that talk about seminal retention talk about it like it's a superpower. Like if you practice seminal retention, if you never ejaculate, it turns you into Superman. It will not turn you into Superman, but there are many, 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 many health benefits to seminal retention. Now, you might ask me, okay, well, what about blue balls? Well, if you want to decrease the intensity of blue balls during seminal retention, which at some point you will get, you'll never get used to blue balls, but at some point you won't have it. You got to cut down on your caffeine. Dude, I've tried. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you. You know, what was your whole mindset on the whole no-fap semen retention community? You know, does it really like
Yes.
help you become more
Yes.
energetic?
Dude, oh my God. Listen, man. Dude, there are, I can't even put this into words, man. There are innumerable benefits to seminal retention. And again, I'm not telling you it's the cheat code. I'm not telling you it's going to instantly turn you into an alpha male. But seminal retention will change your, dude, the kind of physiological and psychological changes that you will go through with seminal retention. If you think stopping watching porn is going to help you, bro, seminal retention is dude, it's unbelievable. It won't turn you into a superhuman, but you will operate at a far higher level than you did before you stopped ejaculating.
Yeah, and I hope it helps with confidence too, because like this is kind of like
Yes.
down my confidence. Because
Yep.
like the last few times when a woman, two different women asked me to come over, like I had them only do oral on me because I was like so afraid that this shit was gonna happen to where I tried to
Sure.
put my dick in her and it
Yeah,
wouldn't
man.
work, so I only had to do oral, and I made up an excuse of why, hey, I'm only in the mood for oral for today, when in reality I was
You
just
wanted to fuck.
I was like too scared to even attempt to fuck, you know.
Here's another thing. Macintosh user says the feeling of blue balls makes me feel stronger. That is accurate. Anytime I have blue balls, I feel physically stronger. I really, really do. So
How
yeah,
long have
you say again.
Oh, how long have you personally dealt with your porn addiction, Donovan?
Oh my God. So, man, that is a very good question. I think I didn't realize I had an addiction until I was like in my mid 30s. God damn, I would probably say my late 20s, right around the time that, so I had struggled with porn from, I would say, age 28 all the way until age 37. So I had a porn addiction for almost a decade. And I knew I had a porn addiction. Like I struggled with it, and I tried absolutely everything. But the way I beat it, and you don't have to do it this way, but the way I beat it, I started with edging and doing the Kegels. Then I started seminal retention.
Okay, and after the point like that you were like edging and doing the Kegels, like how long of a period did you do that before you decided to not just straight up not touch your dick cold turkey for a while until?
It was probably about a month or so. And with everyone, it's different. But I would say, I would say probably about a month, maybe 3 weeks to a month. That's when I was like, you know what? Like here's the thing. When I started edging, I looked forward to edging because I got to watch porn. I got to watch these big titty hoes get smashed out or whatever. But when you know you're not going to get the payoff, you actually start to approach it as almost like a job. Something that you have to do to improve yourself, like going to the gym or riding your bike, whatever the case may be. And when it gets to that point, pardon me, you almost have to like switch up your mindset. You don't want to be consistently, kegling and edging all the time, because eventually you are going to get to the point of no return. But yeah, it probably took me about a month before I was like, you know what? I don't need to edge today. And that was the last time I ever watched pornography.
Okay, during that time period, were you still like in your prime player days?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Absolutely.
Okay, okay,
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah,
Any
man.
advice, like, were you taking a break from that? Like, in my
Yes.
situation, how would you advise me? Because it's not really a situation to where many men will turn down, pussy. Because
Sure.
I don't know if I can. I haven't. Because every time they hit me up, I accept. So, what would like my excuse be to me being the first time to saying no? Like, how would you go about that?
I would just say I don't feel like it right now. Like if a bitch hollers at you, be like, hey, I want to come over. Da, 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 da. Be like, no, I don't feel like it tonight. Oh my God, what's wrong with you? Da, 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 da. I just don't feel like it tonight. It is what it is. And I'll tell you what, when you finally do beat that porn addiction, those bitches will be all over you because why? You were the one guy who told her, no, I don't want you to come over tonight.
What do you do in a situation like when it gets even worse? Because it happened to me once. Like it gets even worse, you start sending nudes and all this other type of stuff.
Yeah, you have to make a decision, man. You have to make a choice, dude. Here's the thing, man. Pussy is always going to be there. Okay. There are girls turning 18, 19, and 20 every minute of every hour of every day. And no matter how good a woman's vagina feels, dude, you can get pussy. Dude, pussy is not going anywhere, especially these days. Dude, women are giving out pussy like it's Halloween candy, man, and it is not going to stop
Yeah.
anytime soon. It is not going
Yeah,
to stop anytime soon. So, but just understand now when these women are throwing when they're throwing pussy at you and this and that and the third, understand that rejecting them eventually makes you more attractive to them because you're doing what most men aren't doing. When you do get to the point to where you do not, when you get to the point, here's where you can start fucking women again, okay? When you can go 72 hours without watching porn or touching your dick, you can then you can go out and start having sex with women.
Okay, and we do all know that in 2025, trying to beat it is definitely a hard thing because
It is hard.
It's being advertised everywhere now.
Let me ask you this: what are because we all have triggers. We all have triggers, and triggers are everywhere. What are your triggers in terms of what makes you want to fire up your laptop and go to town?
Whenever I guess when I'm walking out in public, I see a fine woman who's got a big booty or something, or if I'm like hanging out with a chick and like she starts, getting all up close to me and everything,
Yep.
she starts
Yep.
feeling all of me, then that's my thoughts tend to go to dark places.
Okay. Well, that's not necessarily a dark place. That means you want to fuck, right? It means you want to fuck. That's. But you're gonna have to understand this is an addiction. So you're gonna have to do things that your body is naturally telling you want to do in order to not do the thing anymore. And I'm telling you right now, if you want to beat pornography, you cannot be having sex with women. You cannot be having sex with women because it makes it worse. It makes it a lot. Again, I tried it both ways. I've tried to beat pornography many, many times. Dude, one of my friends told me, well, dude, just only fuck girls. It didn't matter. I was still jerking off to porn. I remember this one time I fucked 3 girls in the same day. I still went home and jerked off twice. That's when I knew it was a real problem. This is when you know that you. This is when I knew I had a porn addiction for a while, but I knew that it was a real problem when I had no physical desire to. But I still felt the need to. That is really bad. That's when I knew I had a problem.
Okay, I'm gonna try your way. I'm gonna try the cold turkey. I'm gonna try the Kegels, and I'm gonna try like jerking me off and stopping in mid stroke.
Let's call it edging.
Yeah, edging. Yeah, yeah,
I
edging.
like it. I like it. Yeah, just and try, so I guess something else I would probably advise you to do is I don't know, maybe delete your Instagram for a little while. Just I don't know, delete your Instagram. I mean, dude, there's fucking pussy and ass all over everything all the time, man. So
Especially X.
yeah, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, I've heard that pornography is actually on. I think pornography is allowed on Twitter. If I don't know if that's true or not, but they're even if it's not, they allow a lot of very risque things on X. So if I were you, yeah, I would delete all my social media apps. I delete all my social media apps. I delete Instagram. I delete X. And a lot of people say, oh, delete all your favorites tabs. Do that, even though you do know what the what the websites are. But at some point, it is going to, there's no way that you're ever going to get away from, I have an opportunity to masturbate. Nothing else is in front of me. I really want to do this, but I know that I can't. That is when the rubber meets the road. When you really, 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 really want to, and you still refrain from doing it. We've also got some other suggestions in the chat. Anytime you feel like masturbating, Chris, dude, go out and go for a walk, right? Get your hands occupied. And I can't believe I'm saying this, play video games even, right? If you really feel the need to masturbate, I don't know, but do something that requires both hands, like play Candy Crush, whatever the case may be. That's my favorite, that's actually my favorite iPad game is Candy Crush. It's really the only iPad game that I play. But yeah, do something that requires you to use both hands. Go to the batting cage, lift weights, do anything but sit around looking at screens, man.
Yeah, that's good, solid advice, because once you're on a 2, 3, 4 day streak, it becomes like all you can ever think about,
Yes. Yeah, it really does become all you can ever think about. And you're going to have to, now here's the thing. When you actually are able to, when you actually have gotten to a point to where you've got a week streak. And here's another thing, Chris, reward yourself. Okay, dude, make like a chart. All right, 1 day down. When you get to 7 days, I don't know, reward yourself with something. Buy yourself a new video game. Like, give yourself incentives. Make it, quantify your success. When you wake up, you're like, all right, cool, man. This is day 7. Let's go. At some point, blue balls is going to hit. Okay, that's when it's really, really hard not to masturbate. All right. But when you can get past that point to where you've got blue balls and this and that and the third, eventually blue balls making porn and all that, all you can think about, eventually that's going to turn into masculine energy. Here's the thing, Chris, pay very close attention to the way you're feeling, because when you want to masturbate, this means you're wanting to do something productive. Okay. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm telling you, sexual energy can be used to your advantage. This is exactly why seminal retention is so big, is because, yes, I have all of this sexual pent-up energy, but my mind is now physiologically and chemically disciplined not to just look for ass all the time. I'm looking for other things to do, like make money, conquer the world, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so eventually, all of that mind thinking about ass and booty, that'll eventually think about stuff about how to be productive if I hold out long enough.
Yeah, it's always going to be a problem for you. It's just like when I was telling you about, my 600-pound life. You're going to see women. Like it is inevitable that not only are you going to see women, you're going to want to have sex with women. This is just how it goes. Now, having sex with women is good for you. It is actually healthy for you. But when you can get to the point, if you get to a point to where you're exercising seminal retention and you've got like an 8, 9, 10-month streak, even when you're fucking girls you haven't ejaculated, dude, it's like nirvana. Dude, go to subreddit, man. Go to subreddit. Do as much, dude. I'm gonna tell you what. I'll put it to you this way, Chris. Think about it this. Do research on seminal retention. Do research on seminal retention, and when you see the benefits that you will get from not ejaculating, and you measure that to what ejaculating to porn gets you, the decision becomes very easy. Now, the action, just like you said, it's easier said than done, but you're going to really want to not ejaculate. So what I would do if I were you, I would just, like I said, I would start off with edging, and then I'd graduate to seminal to seminal retention. Make sure you're doing your Kegels, and eventually you will break free, but it is going to take work.
Okay, from an estimated time of staying consistent, how much time do you think that like the average person can get off the addictive porn? Do you think it will take a year, more than a year?
No, I don't think it'll take that long. If you have to put this on project status. This can't just be, all right, I'm going to stop watching porn. No, this needs to be on your mind. Okay. You need to put this on project status, almost like starting a business or starting a side hustle. This needs to be something that you need to plan for. Like I said, make a chart, make spreadsheets, give yourself incentives. When I hit 1 week, I'll do this. When I hit 2 weeks, I'll do that. When I hit 3 weeks, I'll do that. If I slip up, you got to go all the way back. You got to go all the way back to the beginning. So I would say, I know it can vary from person to person, but dude, I'd struggled for porn for almost 10 years. And again, I was consistent, and I slipped up a few times, but eventually it took me about a month to completely get off of it. But you got to work at it. This isn't something that's just going to passively happen just because you're not doing it. No, you have to be proactive with this, Chris. If you feel the need to whack off, if you feel the need to jerk off, dude, do something. You have, find something to do. Go for a walk, go for a run, play video games, whatever the case may be. Do anything you have to keep both of your hands occupied.
Okay, and over time, like, will it get to the point to where, like, when you're off porn, but when you look at the temptations, like stuff like, when you see a big ass or big tits or something like that, or you scroll down and you come across somebody twerking or whatever, that it doesn't bother you, or will there always be that feeling there?
Oh, there's always going to be that feeling there because you're a man, right? Like, if you see a woman with some big titties and a matching ass twerking, yeah, that's going to make you want to fuck. But here's what you should do. If you're scrolling and you see a bitch twerking, you know what you do? Instead of jerking off, you go start hollering at bitches. And here's the thing, man, dude, when you're not watching porn, your balls are heavy, okay? And I'll tell you something else too. I'm going to tell you something else too. Okay? Not jerking off also, dude, and I'm telling you, my guys in the chat can absolutely attest to this. Your confidence level skyrockets. It absolutely skyrockets. I don't know. I'm sure that there's probably some sort of chemistry major that can explain to me why this happens or how it happens. Your confidence skyrockets. Not only does your confidence skyrocket, your sense of urgency. You're like, dude, the only way I'm going to be able to ejaculate is by fucking somebody because I can't do it with pornography. Listen, I'm telling you right now, do the research on seminal retention. And I'm telling you, I really do believe it's going to change your life.
Okay, for sure. I'll definitely look into that.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling in, Chris. I appreciate it, and thanks for being honest too, man. I know it's not easy. To talk so openly about something like that. All right, so Chris Payne, yeah, wow, that was a little longer call than I thought, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, let's go to Scott. Scott, where you at? I'm gonna unmute you, Scott. Okay, Scott.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah, so coming in kind of late here. So this is really just any question, any topic, right?
No, this is just relationship questions.
Right, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, perfect. So I'm wanted to ask you, I'm considering ending my marriage, but
okay.
There's no one in the space who's better at relationships than you, right? So that's I can definitely attest to that. And so what I'm trying to figure out, and I apologize.
Oh, Scott, where'd you go? Hang on. Sorry, Scott. I didn't hear the last 5 seconds. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay, can you hear me okay now?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, so it's perfect. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm considering ending my marriage, and I wanted to, talk to you before I do, because that's obviously you can't go back from that. And I wanted to really see if it's possible to fix my marriage.
Oh. God damn it. Scott, can you hear me? Oh, wait, hold on. Hang on, Scott. Hang on. I see the problem. All right, sorry about that. Okay. Hang on a second. Hold on. Okay, we're back. All right, Scott, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
All right,
absolutely.
cool. All right, gotcha. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, I fixed the problem, so we're good to go. Okay, so you're thinking about ending your marriage. Why?
Yeah, it's so I used to be very religious. I met my wife at a very religious college. That's where we met and got married. We got married really young, and it's been about 8 years now. So, but there's been, because I didn't have this information, had a very beta stepdad, wasn't really taught things properly like many of us. And
sure,
basically I know things now that if only I could go back in time and do things right. But,
of course, right.
Yeah, but obviously this is a very big decision to make. I don't want to jump the gun on something if I could fix it. I do love my wife.
Okay.
There's a lot of bullshit. We all deal. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say it on YouTube?
Oh, dude, of course you are. Go ahead, man.
Okay, just checking.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you.
Hoping,
let me just ask you. Let me ask you a few questions here, real quick, just to get some baseline information. How old are you? How old is she?
Yeah. So I'm 32 and she is 27.
Okay, so you're 32. She's 27. You guys met at a religious college. You don't have to say where it's at. Did you guys? And how long have you been married? You said 8 years.
Yeah, it'll be 8 years next month.
Okay, so so you got married when you were 24 and she was 19 then.
That's right.
Oh,
it's
wow.
very common there too.
Okay, very good. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's what it really comes down to, and how do I put this? So we got married on a religious basis. Neither of us are part of that religion anymore, and so I've maintained more conservative values, and she, I guess you could say, she has morals, but she is. Because I didn't lead her properly through our marriage, she has been led by feminism more and more.
Okay.
And so I'm just kind of wondering if there's a way to salvage my marriage and get her to follow my lead, because she's very egalitarian, and it's one of those things where you try to take charge and be dominant and you get pushback,
Okay.
And
Give me an example.
Let's see here. So maybe I'm trying to set things up for a situation. I'm trying to take the lead, and, essentially she wants to butt in and say, well, I want to have a say too. We're equal partners. And I'm like, not really,
Okay.
And of course, I've gone over certain talking points, and of course I just get, we'll just say emotional responses. Right.
Okay.
But I guess as I'm saying this out loud, because I don't want to take up too much time here. I'm sure there's other callers. It seems like this is probably a lack of respect mixed with something else. It's kind of funny. She's Brazilian, and I have a buddy of mine he just divorced a Brazilian woman too.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, he's also red pilled, and he's under the impression that Brazilians love, but by the way, this isn't some passport bro shit. She's actually originally from Orlando. A lot of Brazilians there,
Gotcha.
So
of course. Yeah.
But her mom is from Sao Paulo, Brazil. So I guess my buddy was claiming that Brazilian women they love Americans because they're beta. And Brazilian men are very machismo, I guess more alpha, right? So they're kind of fed up with that. So I guess, it's funny because she did follow my lead when we first got together, even though I was still pretty blue pill. There was just kind of an inherent, I guess you could say, when it comes to the religious aspect where the woman follows the man, she was kind of about that. But now that that's gone, feminism is just kind of erupting from her.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
What's your sex life? What's your sex life like? How often are you guys having sex?
Yeah. So we're actually having sex a lot more recently.
Okay.
But we've had periods of time where we were fighting a lot, and
that's natural.
Maybe yeah,
that's natural. You're going to go through
that
ebbs and flows. Yeah, you're going to go through ebbs and flows, streaks, peaks, and valleys as far as sex. But so for right now, you guys are having sex pretty regularly then.
Right now, yeah, I would say at least 3-4 times a week right now, and then there was like 6 months where it just didn't happen. So
sure,
a lot of fighting. So.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. All right. So now, so you're thinking of ending your marriage because, the scourge of feminism has, taken hold of your wife. What kind of habits, traits, characteristics does she have? Because it can't just be things that she's saying that is, because this is a big step, right? You're thinking about ending your marriage. If it's because of something she said, then okay, we got to pump the brakes. But what are the things that she is doing that is really, sort of causing you to contemplate ending your marriage of 8 years?
Yeah, so she doesn't follow my lead. Most of the time, she tries to be equal, and basically, I think Chris Rock did a bit on this one time where a guy will be a quarterback, and then his bitch is also there saying hut hut, and he's like, wait a minute, we can't both be in charge. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exactly. So there's some of that. It's probably not as aggressive, so to speak, but what it comes down to is she's very so. I've introduced new boundaries in our marriage, and of course that was met with a lot of pushback. And I even told off her mom actually because there was long story short. And her mom is still very religious, so she's gone to concerts, but with her mom. She's like really good friends with her mom, and I know how you feel about concerts. That's a deal breaker for you, but I'm like, well, it's with her mom. Her mom is not going to allow her to be a 304, so, but there was, long story short, there was some miscommunication, and I thought her mom fell off the deep end and they were going to go do some degenerate stuff.
And what was that? Tell me about that situation.
Okay, perfect. So there was a concert in Vegas. I think they were going to go see Pink, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly. So
So let me pause right here. So a couple of quick things before I allow you to continue. You said she goes to concerts with her mom, but her mom is religious and doesn't allow her to be a 304. You have to understand something here, Scott, is that her mother is just her mother. Her mother can't really tell your wife what she can or cannot do. That's the first thing. The second thing is her mom might be religious, but you said she's real good friends with her mother. That is a bad thing. This is a very, 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 oh yes, because what is happening, Scott, and I'll let you continue. What is happening is her mother and her are becoming friends. Okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're going to a concert, a woman going to a concert with her mother, that is just as bad as a woman going to the club with her mom, going to the bar with her mom, doing spring break. It does not, because your mom doesn't have a baby monitor. Okay. Your wife is a grown woman, right? And so what is going to end up eventually happening is your wife is going to use her mother as an excuse to go off and do things that put your relationship at risk. And whether or not, if her mother was so religious, she would not be taking her daughter to a Pink concert. So continue with this whole Pink concert situation. I just wanted to give you a little bit of context there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So then of course, my mother-in-law invites some other friends who are a little bit more secular than religious. And so that's where the red flags came up immediately. No, what ended up happening is none of the secular women went. It was all religious women and my wife. And so I understand, she's not going to have a microscope on my wife, but it's one of those things where, they're in the same hotel room. Is it possible she could have snuck out at 2 a.m? I guess.
That makes sense. It's the situation is a little sketchy, but it is. I understand why you weren't as concerned as a man normally wouldn't be.
Yeah, and I guess it was also less of a concern for me because I know my wife has this weird complex of not wanting to, be seen fucking up in front of her mom because of this sort of like, oh, you're not responsible for anything. And
right.
Her mom was very religious, very hard on her. So I think, that's probably part of it. Let me ask you
this. Is her mom married? Is her mom still married?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's her dad's role in her life?
Luckily got along very well with the dad, but he's very bad. He actually, he cries a lot because, I guess he's filled with the Holy Spirit a lot, so,
okay.
Yeah. And, he's a really good guy, honestly, but
I'm sure he is a really good guy, but he's a good guy, but he's a bad father. Because and the reason why I say he's a bad father, even though he's a good guy, is because if I were him, I would never allow, number one, here's the thing. Number one, her father allowed her mother to go to a Pink concert in Las Vegas. You understand? Yep. So
absolutely.
So your wife is seeing the kind of relationship that her parents have, and she expects that same treatment from you. And by him inadvertently co-signing them, being okay with them traveling to Las Vegas, Nevada for a Pink concert, her name may as well be feminist. That tells you what we're dealing with. So just so you understand, Scott, the mentality that the mentality that your wife has been raised by is that of a single mother. Okay. Her mother might be married, but she still has a single mother's mindset. And the reason I say that is because clearly the father doesn't have a say in what goes, because the father allowed his wife to go to a Pink concert.
Oh, it gets better with that. So not only is he not dominant, so we lived with them for a little while just to save some money. Like
Sure,
this
of
is
course.
probably 6 years ago. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it was interesting to see my mother-in-law berate and just emasculate my father-in-law right in front of us. And I was shocked.
Wow.
And now I know where some of the sassy Brazilian disrespect comes from, right? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So
Of course not.
yeah, so it's really interesting. I remember I've been following you since 2019.
Oh.
And yeah.
Okay.
And I remember during 2020, I was stuck with my wife for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were stuck together in the same room and in the same place.
Oh, wow.
And so I remember I decided to enlist boundaries and just be more dominant. And it was very interesting because at first she responded to it very positively.
Okay.
She would pounce me, fuck my brains out. It was
Sure.
amazing. Then eventually, if I got more masculine, she would raise her masculine, energy essentially. And then I would have to raise, it was just this kind of game where I had to keep getting more and more aggressive verbally, and then she would match it.
Okay.
And so eventually I'm like, this is not good. If it gets to a certain point, I'm not willing to go there. So, but yeah. So
Go where? What do you mean go there?
well, I remember there was one time you said, you were like, gentlemen, there are some women who will only submit when a guy Mike Tyson's them.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not going there. So I don't
Right.
think she's that bad, but yeah, she tries to match my energy if I get more dominant because, she thinks it's disrespectful, or me leading her is like, oh, you're treating me like a child. That's condescending. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to be a woman,
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I'm doing what I can, but in a lot of ways, I kind of feel like the marriage is cooked, possibly. But if I can salvage it, if we can make some changes, that would be great. Now, I will say, not to get religious, but I think that was a major factor in her becoming the way she was. And a huge deal breaker for me is I am still religious. I'm just not a part of the one that we met at, right?
Okay.
But I want to raise the kids a certain way, and she wants to raise them in a mixed household with two different belief systems. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh, boy.
yeah.
Do you guys have any children now?
No, thank God.
Okay, good.
No children
Good,
yet.
good.
So
Okay, all right. Let me ask you just a few more baseline questions. What is what's your employment situation? Like, you don't have to get specific, but do you make more money than she does? Do you provide her with a good life?
right now, I was making more money than her last year. We're kind of about the same now. She got a raise.
Okay.
But I'm not providing her with a good life yet because, long story short, we met in college. I was never a school kind of guy, so
Sure.
I was like, hey, I want to start this business. She was like, oh, that's great, I'll help you, and she never did. And part of that was we were going to pull our resources together. We were going to save money, and we were going to do that, and that never happened. And so,
Oh, wow.
obviously, we have to learn you can't expect bitches to build with you.
No.
You just have to get your shit together yourself, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
But yeah, so right now as I said, I'm a security guard. I'm not making very much, man. I'm making, maybe 42 a year. And the reason I'm a security guard is because it allows me to work on, I'm actually going back to school. I'm going to be an accountant. So it allows me to work on homework while I'm at work, right? Shout out to Aaron Clary for that suggestion.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just talked to him the other day.
Oh, very
he actually
good.
wanted to know
Fun,
about. He had a boxing question. It was funny. Anyway, go ahead.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it's really interesting. Yeah, so I probably have another year or two as a guard, and then I'll get my, work on my CPA. So, things are going to be a lot better, obviously. But yeah, right now it's it's almost, it kind of reminds me of being back in college. I was doing a lot of sales in my 20s.
Okay.
And I know you've done a lot of sales.
Oh yeah. That's where I cut my teeth, brother.
Right. And so the problem was, I mostly did phone sales. I knew you've done cars and mattresses.
Oh yeah, I've done cars,
right?
Mattresses, and I have been at many telemarketing jobs. That shit will put hair on your resume chest.
Right. Yeah. So, but it was some bullshit where, you're doing well. You're making, maybe 2,000 a week, and then corporate changes. The leads suck. They lower your commissions, and then you have jobs, and it was just So I was like, screw this. I'm going to go back to school.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I'm in this situation. You had some highs and some lows. So but yeah. So I think I know this is a tough question because
this is actually not actually not a tough question at all, Scott. Let me ask you this. You've been following me since 2019, and that is 6 years ago. So at that point, you and your wife had been married for 2 years, which means you were 26 and she was 21. What was there anything happening in your marriage? Like, how did you find me? Like, how did you find the red pill? Was it your marriage or was it something else?
Well, I know no one's ever going to find me, so I'm going to share something really personal. And this is, this is something I think is not really talked about. So I think there may be some guys watching who may benefit from this because they'll know they're not alone.
Okay.
So, my wife, she had a medical condition called vaginismus. Are you familiar with that?
I am not. I've heard of bacterial vaginosis, but I don't know what vaginismus is.
Yeah, so vaginismus is basically where it hurts to have sex. And so
almost like endometriosis?
I'm not sure, but basically she was, really funny. We kind of sinned before we got married, had to talk to our bishop, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of funny, but then on our honeymoon, we couldn't do it. Now, my dumbass, I stuck around for another year without consummating the marriage before we finally did because she was scared to go to the doctor. It was almost like she was picturing some horror movie of she's like strapped to like a bed, or like a table like Frankenstein or some shit. And
or getting ready for a lobotomy or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're going to shove some tool in her and stretch her out and she's going to scream in agony like some dramatic horror movie scene.
Yeah, right.
It was ridiculous. So finally I was like, hey, look, I'm out unless you get this fixed. And then she did. So
okay, so let me get this straight. Hold on, let me get this straight. So you guys met in college. You're having sex in college. Okay, the vaginismus was never a pro. Oh
no, sorry, we were doing everything but that, and then because we even in our own morality, we thought, that was too far, right? So
so you actually didn't have sex. Oh, so you didn't have sex with her until you got married.
Right, but we did other things. We messed up, but yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Very good. Now, was she a virgin when you met her?
Yes, she was, and
okay.
I was able to verify that. So,
okay. All right. Okay. Very good. Very good.
I guess I was one of the few lucky ones in that regard. That's very rare. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever had sex with a virgin. Actually, I've had sex with one virgin, and that was the girl that I lost my virginity to. Who knew?
Nice.
So you've got the virgin wife. She comes from the two-parent, from the two-parent household, although not the kind of two-parent household that we would like for her to have. Clearly, that has sort of reared its ugly head. But eventually, you did start having sex.
Yeah, basically, I gave her an ultimatum, and I'm like, yeah, look, you're not even trying to get this fixed, so it's not fair to me. I'm not going to stay in a marriage like this.
Okay.
And then she got it fixed, and then things. Yeah. So anyway, and then I don't know if this matters. I think she left our previous belief system, if you want to say that.
Okay.
It was like in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I left in late 2018, so there was also a period of time where she was sad that I left the faith, so to speak. But
okay.
And then she did finally. So.
Okay. All right. Very good.
so that's kind of where she was really sweet and feminine, and then it just slowly, ever so slowly, she's become just
Yeah, she's
bratty,
acting like a
bratty
feminist.
bullshit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So we got off on the vaginismus thing. How did you discover my content, and why or how did you find or become red pill aware?
Sorry, hopefully that train doesn't you know.
No, it's fine. I can still hear you. I still hear you.
Okay,
very
perfect.
well. Yeah.
I just didn't want it to pull
No,
the
it's all
horn.
good. You're good.
Yeah, so I found your content. I think we were having a fight, and I found you somehow, and I think you were actually the first red pill content person I found.
Okay.
It was on YouTube. I think I remembered. I don't want to say the name because fuck this guy.
Okay.
But let's just say I found a certain channel.
Gotcha.
When it wasn't just focused on the red pill, but just men's stuff in general.
Gotcha.
And this person is, we'll just say, the rival. You know, he likes to wear the Trump hat. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but we're not going to plug him. So
no, of course not.
But,
of course not.
Yeah, but so I think I was watching some of his videos unrelated, and then you came up in a suggested video.
Okay.
And of course, you had a great eye-catching title, and you spoke my language immediately.
Good.
And I suddenly binge watched you for like 2 weeks. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Good. Very good. Okay. The reason I asked that question was what I was fishing for was something that was happening in the marriage that caused you to look for my content. Now, you said that you found my content while you and your wife were in a fight. What was that fight about, and how did that transpire?
Oh shit. I'll be honest. I don't even know if I remember now, because this was
okay. All right. No problem.
But I think it just had to do with just feelings of resentment and basically disrespect that I was experiencing. And
so this started a while back.
Yeah, because it was, you get married too young under false pretenses and under a religious, kind of situation. So it just. Yep, should have waited. Should have gotten my shit together first. It is what it is.
Fine.
You live and learn. But
yeah, I get it. I understand.
So, but I think I was being disrespected, and I'm like, this bitch, and I decided to research the internet. I'm like, how the fuck? How did this happen? And not holding my frame, making concessions, right?
Right.
Beatitization through 1,000 concessions.
Okay.
Also, sometimes we don't like their friends. They're a bad influence, right?
Right.
So
that was actually going to be my next couple of questions. What kind of friends does your wife have? Second question, what kind of friends does her mother have?
Yeah, so her friends are pretty good now. She mostly hangs out with a married woman who just had a baby, very traditional, and she's still in that previous religion we were in. So and she, I think her saving grace is she's not hardcore leftist like Destiny, like those people. Right. She does get offended when I say a certain word that starts with an F. Okay. About people who hit for the same team, right? Got it. Yeah, so we are kind of seeing all the tone policing come out, and you shouldn't say those words. And I think it's hard to tell if it's just a shit test or, if it's a genuine
disrespect
I was taking.
Look, check this out. So for your future relationships, I'm foreshadowing here. There's a clear delineation between a shit test and disrespect, and it's very, very simple. And a lot of men struggle trying to find the difference between a shit test and disrespect. A shit test, shit tests and disrespect can look the same. It can be the same act. It can be the same word. It can look the same. The difference is disrespect makes you angry. Okay. When a woman shit tests you, a woman shit testing you shouldn't make you angry. Okay. if it makes you angry, there's probably a little bit of disrespect in there, right? So, for example, let's just say you're sitting on the sofa with your wife, and you want to watch the game, right? And she says, "Oh, come on, I don't want to watch the game. Can we watch, The Real Housewives of Atlanta or something like that?" And you say, "No, I want to watch the game." She says, "Yeah, but you can record the game." And then you respond to her, "Yeah, but you can record the Housewives of Atlanta. Games are only live once. You know how the internet gets, right?" That was, and see, she knows all of this, Scott. She knows all of this. That was a shit test. Disrespect is, hey, can we watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta? No, I'm watching the game. No, fuck that. Grabs the remote and turns the channel. Now that could be a shit test. Okay, it could be a shit test depending upon how you feel. But at that point, if you're married to someone who says fuck you and then turns the channel anyway, at that point you are definitely at the point of no return. So, the long and the short of what I just told you is that shit tests kind of aggravate you a little bit. They kind of annoy you every once in a while. Comfort tests are kind of the same way. Disrespect, those are the things that make you like physically angry. That's the best way to describe the difference between the two.
And I want to clarify something that you just said.
Okay.
So you're saying if it's at the point where she says fuck you and does what she wants, where it's basically over.
Yeah.
There's no saving that.
Listen. How can I put this? Is it possible to save your marriage? Yeah, I think it's possible. At this point, I don't think it's likely. And the reason I don't think it's likely is because, number one, she's 27, okay? Once women get to a certain age, I would say 23, 24, maybe even 25 at the latest, absent some cataclysmic change in her life, something tragic or something that completely changes her life, she's not changing her habits. Honestly, the next time her habits change will probably be the first time she'll have to buy her own drinks at the bar. Okay. The second thing is that you've been in this relationship for 8 years. What you are going to attempt to do is be something that she is not or unfamiliar with. Now, if you become this new quote unquote alpha male, she could come to love and respect it and all this other kind of stuff. But chances are, simply because of the age of your relationship, it is probably not going to happen. But I do have some good news for you, Scott. You're 32 and she's 27. You're not even in your masculine prime yet. Okay. Your wife is reaching the end of hers. Okay. You listen, you got lucky. You got to marry a 19-year-old woman who had never had sex before. Unfortunately, the scourge of feminism has literally marked her. And what really solidifies this, and this is why you asked me, this is why your first statement, I'm thinking about ending my marriage, because deep down, that while this is not impossible to turn this thing around, that it's unlikely. And one of the many reasons why this is unlikely is because her mother is the same as she is. She was raised by an overbearing mother who berates her husband, who cries all the time for quote unquote religious reasons or whatever excuse he comes up to make crying okay in front of his wife. This is the only relationship that she has viewed that is quote unquote successful is between her mother and her father. And any deviation from that, you're not going to just be battling her. Eventually, you're going to be fighting her mother. And this is the nail in the coffin. So you said it's already happened?
Yeah, a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. This is going to be the nail in the coffin, Scott, okay? Your wife's best friend is her mother, okay? Her best friend just flew down to Las Vegas for a Pink concert. That's why, and again, nothing is impossible, and I'll never say never, but it would be, honestly, I can't think of anything. I can't think of any scenario absent a Terminator 2 Judgment Day type of dystopian scenario that would save this marriage. I think that your wife I think she's already too far gone. And you've actually already sort of tried it earlier. You tried raising your masculine frame, and at first it worked, but then she raised her masculine frame. Do you know what that was, Scott? That was a shit test. That was a shit test.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
I raised mine even more, and then she matches it again.
There you go. And that was when that Mike Tysoning thing jumped into your head. You mean to tell me the only way I'm going to get respect from this woman is to talk and act all crazy and possibly Mike Tysoning her? What do I say? What do I advise men to do about women that need to be physically accosted in order to earn their respect?
Black flag, leave.
There it is.
You're out of there. Yeah.
That's it, man. That's it. And again, I want to make this clear. I know this is not easy to hear, and I know that this is not going to be easy to do. Not going to be easy to do because, dude, you love your wife, right? You love your wife. You know what I mean? Like, just because, listen, just because your marriage is on the rocks doesn't mean you don't still love her. But I think you really need to understand that you are very, very fortunate that you found my content, number one. Number two, you're married to a woman who does not have any children. You don't have any children. You could quite literally get out of this situation scot-free. She even makes more money than you do. If ever there was a time, Scott, and again, I'm not suggesting this to you like it's as easy as going and buying a loaf of bread. There's going to be some emotional pain on both sides. Okay? Your wife is going to be hurt. Her mother's going to be hurt. Her father's going to be hurt. And you're going to be hurt. But part of being a man and really sort of living, quote unquote, being the best man you can be, just like I was telling Apollo earlier, it often means that you have to do things that you don't like to do or that you don't want to do, such as the masculine burden of performance. You may not want to divorce your wife because it's just going to be hard and inconvenient. But if you don't, what happens in 2 years if you guys have a child, Scott? Tell me what happens when you guys have a child 2 years. Yeah. Do you see? Instinctively, you're like, oh my God. So when I ask a man, hey, give me a 2 year look into the future, 2 years of having a child, and your first reaction was exasperation. That tells you right there that you already know what you have to do.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate it. This is, I know it's hard, but
it sucks. It sucks. It sucks and it's hard, man. And oh my God, yeah, it sucks and it's hard, but I'm gonna tell you what, man, it is better for you to do this now at 32 than when you're 37 making six figures as a certified public accountant while she is sitting on her ass doing nothing, probably fucking her personal trainer, trying to lose the baby weight, and then her rake you over the coals in divorce court. Dude, my first divorce cost me $12. And the reason why it cost me $12 is because my ass was broke. Okay? Your ass is broke now. You are so very, very lucky, Scott, to be in this situation that you are in right now. You are on your way. This is so funny. Your situation, it's almost the equivalent of a 21-year-old hot girl dating a guy who is in law school. She dumps the guy who's in law school because she wants to fuck the 3 lawyers on the 3 yachts. Well, guess what? If she had stayed with that lawyer, if she had stayed with that guy in law school, eventually he would become a lawyer. Now they've got a couple of kids, and now what? I'm telling you, it really sucks that you're in this situation, but I'm going to tell you what, Scott, there are a lot of men who are in your exact same position, almost the exact, I'm sure that there are probably millions of 32-year-old men married to 27-year-old women. The only difference is their 27-year-old wives are fat and they've got 3 kids, and they know the marriage is not going to work. You are very, 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 very fortunate that you do not have kids with this woman. It sounds like this is something you've been thinking about for a while. Just make sure you prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and financially. That's what I would do. And if I were you, I would beat her to the punch. I would file for divorce before she does.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It sucks. I mean, it sucks to have to advise you of this, but if and again, from the outside looking in, and I know, and I say this all the time, it's very easy for a guy like me who is emotionally detached from your situation. It's very easy for me to say, all right, dude, you got to divorce her, because I understand, I understand all too well what it's like to be with a woman that you genuinely love, and you know it's not going to work, and you know you've got to leave her. Dude, you know it's going to be messy. You know her mom's going to be pissed, her dad's going to be pissed. It's going to be messy, but which situation would you rather be dealing with? The temporary situation where you're inconveniencing her and her parents and maybe, getting some public ridicule, or 4 years from now, you now have 2 or 3 children and now she's beating you to the divorce court.
Yeah, that's actually why we haven't even had kids yet, because you know, I've kind of had my foot out the door since pretty early on, so I didn't want to take that risk. But
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Wow, that is
also
incredible. Good for you, man.
it's funny because she refuses to have sex with a condom, so I purposely will only have sex with her within the 1 week after her period.
So she refuses
She
to
gets
have
pissed
sex
about
with.
that.
So she refuses to have sex without a condom.
with the condom. So sorry, I'm winded.
No, no,
Other side
that's okay. I
patrol
got
here.
you. Okay, no, I got you. So she refuses to have sex
Yeah.
with a condom. Well, that makes sense.
So,
No, that makes sense.
yeah.
You know, she's your wife, right?
Well, yeah, but it's funny because she is really trying hard to get a baby out of me, and so I'm tracking her cycle.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So and she gets mad. I'm only able to, I'm only willing to have sex 1 out of 4 weeks of the month because I know I'm not doing that.
Bro, see,
So we're kind of playing
already
the game
knew
right now. Yep.
Yeah, you already knew. Yeah, honestly, if I were you, I would stop having sex with her completely. That's what I would do. If you know, listen, you know right now, and again, this doesn't mean that you don't love your wife. You know that you have to divorce this woman, okay? This woman's best friend is her mother who took her to a Pink concert. And now, and I guarantee you, Scott, I promise you, Scott, she knew that you had 1 foot out the door before you realized it. Okay?
Really?
You don't think she is sensing that you're thinking about leaving her right now? You don't think that do you think that she would be surprised that you're talking to me right now? Of course not. That's why she's trying to get a baby out of you, okay? And I tell guys this all the time. We here in the Red Pill and the Manosphere, we tell guys don't get married. Don't get married legally, blah, 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 blah. It's what Devin and I do. Getting married legally doesn't really, it doesn't really do anything if the marriage doesn't work out because you don't have any kids. It's the having the children part that gets men tripped up. You're fortunate. And I'll put it to you like this. If there were 2 scenarios where you were with this girl, let's just say that you weren't, scenario A is the scenario you're in now. You're married to her, you don't have any kids, or scenario B, you guys have been dating for 5 years and you have 2 kids. Which scenario is worse for you? Of course, it's scenario B, because even though you're just married over here, you've got 2 kids over here. I can promise you, Scott, that your wife senses that you have 1 foot out the door, 1.5 foot out the door, and now all of a sudden she wants to get a baby out of you. Has she given you a reason?
Yeah. Well, I've made her wait, as she says, for years. I mean, she's wanted a baby from day one.
Okay, which is good.
I do too, but it's not going to be when our marriage is fucked up,
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Violet. I told her, hey, you better get your ass in line or you're never going to get a kid from me.
Yeah.
And,
there you go. So. Good for you. Violet Blue with the $5 Rumble rant says, once a woman gets that rude to you, she is already gone. Move on. Yeah. Once you're, I don't want to keep you too much longer, Scott. What are some of the other red flags that you've noticed about her? Because again, you're not talking to me for no reason. You've said to me, Donovan, I'm thinking about ending my marriage. What are the characteristics, traits, and habits that are causing you to say, Donovan, I'm thinking about leaving my marriage? Other than what you've already told me.
Yeah. Let's see here. So it's very interesting. I'll give her credit. Oh,
wait a minute. Scott, I think I lost you, buddy. Wait, let me make sure. Hang on, Scott. I'm going to make sure this is on my end and not your end. Hang on, buddy. Test. Okay, I can hear me.
So where were you today?
Okay. All right, Scott, for whatever reason, I can't hear you. Okay. Yeah, Scott, if you're on, if you're out, jump back in, because it could be just, it could just be it's probably a glitch in the Matrix. Probably a glitch in the Matrix. Yeah, listen, shout out to Scott. Shout out to Scott for doing, oh, there he is. All right.
All
right, I got you, Scott.
Okay?
Are you with me? Yep, I hear you loud and clear. So
Sorry,
that's okay. That's all right. Don't worry about it. So we left off where you're like, okay, I got to give her. So the question was, what caused you to make this call today? And you said, I've got to give her credit. And that's when the sound went out. So what were you about to give her credit for before you told me why you're thinking about leaving your wife?
Yeah. I was going to say, she's never weaponized sex against me.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But at the same time, it's I totally when that disconnection happened, I forgot what I was going to say and why I brought that up. I'll think of something else here so I don't waste time.
Okay. Well, tell me something
here.
else. Give me something, or give me an instance or a circumstance where you're like, because this isn't something we've come to this point here on April 13th at 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's never just one thing that causes a man after 8 years to say, hey, I'm thinking about leaving my wife. Just give me a couple of examples of things that she's done. Or so you've already given me a couple of really good examples. The concert, the Pink concert, we poked a bunch of holes in that. Has she ever disrespected you verbally? Has she ever done anything that puts your relationship at risk?
Yeah, so before I found you, she's gone to, she used to be a photographer. And so she's gone to some sort of out of state retreats with other women. And, it's one of those things I can never really verify what happened down there. But,
right.
So, there's stuff like that where it's like, well, I honestly believe maybe she didn't, but I would be a fool if I totally ruled that out,
Of course. Was there anything about those particular situations that made you think that she might have stepped out? Or was it just the fact that she traveled alone?
No, I think number one, she always shared her location, and she even had me pick her up at these places where you just see a ton of other girls around the same age come out of a business or something. And so it was
fair enough.
One of those things. It was like, but still, right? That doesn't mean they didn't go to a bar the night before. Exactly.
Absolutely. And just because you have her location does not mean that she is with her phone.
Right. That's true. In fact, I don't know if you've been hearing about this. A lot of girls are now getting two phones. They have one sneaky leak phone, and then the one they give out to the,
Yep. There you go. So, They keep the sneaky link phone, right? The sneaky link phone is for the guy she's fucking on the side. Their phone is, they keep their main phone for the guy they're trying to fuck over, right? So and they share their location with that phone, but not the sneaky link phone. No, I got you. And oh, by the way, Scott. Oh, by the way, yes, there are ways to spoof your location on the iPhone. Yes, really? Gentlemen. Yes, yeah, dude. Shit. Dude, you can Google it. There are probably about a dozen different ways. That, through various apps and VPNs, you absolutely positively can spoof your location.
Wow.
Yep. And I can promise you, it wasn't a man that figured that out.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, so I guess something else is like there are periods in the marriage where basically she had free time to try to reconcile something, resolve something. Maybe we've had kind of an ongoing fight for a couple weeks, and that's how stubborn she's gotten, is she's willing to hold on to it for 2 weeks. But
right.
Yeah, and I'll be like, hey, meet me at home, let's talk about this. And she just puts everything else before me. I got to go see my friend. I got to go see my parents, whatever. And, that's, again, honestly, it's more disrespect, but
sure.
When they're putting you on the back burner, I mean, obviously there's no genuine desire there,
No, absolutely.
But I've noticed this year, though, and I think it's because I've truly stopped giving a shit finally. And I'm like, hey, I'm ready to walk out the door in 30 seconds now.
Okay.
I love her. I would want to save the marriage if I could, but I'm also done. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just,
right.
I care.
So you really could take it or leave it at this point.
Yeah, no, I seriously.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you know what, Donovan? My dumbass. I forgot to mention this. She put us into bankruptcy last year.
Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. How did she do that?
So, yeah, that was kind of where that was the last straw for me. But
okay.
Yeah, so there's that. It's just, not giving a shit. When a woman stops caring, she lets the finances go.
Yep.
And so I think she can sense I truly don't give a fuck. And now suddenly she's pouncing me more at home. It's kind of funny. So this is a small little detail. she's suddenly leaving me like my favorite treats. Like, so I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Yeah.
But she'll bring me these sunflower seed butter cups from Trader Joe's. You know what I mean? So
Oh my
she'll randomly
God.
leave those around, and
Oh,
she's pouncing
wow.
on me, and she's like, "Oh, let's spend time together." And so it's suddenly bringing me back to the beginning of the marriage, and I'm like, "What is this? Is she?
Right.
Did I activate genuine desire again, or because I've lost some weight too,
Sure.
or is it that I can't really tell? Is this a shit test? Is she trying to kind of see where things are? So
No,
I'm
I'll tell you
enjoying
what.
it now.
I'll tell you what she's doing, Scott. She's doing what neither of us thought that she could do. She is weaponizing sex. She's weaponizing sex. Women can weaponize sex in many, many, many different ways. Most women weaponize sex by saying, do this for me or you get no sex. But women also weaponize sex when they sense that you're about to walk out the door and they're trying to baby trap you. It appears that your wife has all of a sudden become super wife because, okay, so you lost a little weight. Losing a little bit of weight, yeah, that can increase the desire, that can increase the desire to some degree. But if your woman really, really is jumping your bones, it's usually because she wants something. That could be a trip, that could be the iPhone, that could be a child, it could be anything. And so, yeah, just because your wife hasn't withheld sex from you does not mean that she is not weaponizing this against you. And that is exactly what's happening. She's making it very obvious too.
Right, but if she ever tries to pull that shit back, she's going to be very disappointed.
There you
and
go.
No change of outcome. So
yeah, wow.
Yeah, no, this is a fascinating situation. It's just very, I don't know. You know what I mean? This is kind of a one-off situation. It's very weird, right?
Yeah, I think it's weird. I think one of the weirdest parts about this is actually the best part about this is that you have figured out that your marriage is probably over way before it's too late. Okay, because most men find this particular content because of heartbreak, sexual frustration, or both. You are one of the very fortunate few who's not really dealing with either. You're not heartbroken. Your wife is, I guess recent, her jumping your bones notwithstanding, you guys, as far as I know, you're telling me you guys have had a pretty healthy sex life throughout the marriage, right? I mean, you go through different ebbs and flows if you're fighting, whatever the case may be, but you guys, she's never withheld sex from you purposefully.
Yeah, man, those Brazilian girls, you know what I mean?
Yep. Oh,
So,
yeah, dude.
yeah.
Trust me. Wow. Yeah, it sounds, and the great part about this is, and anytime you're feeling any doubt, Scott, in terms of whether or not you should continue, whether you should save your marriage or not, just ask yourself this. What would happen if I got her pregnant? Right? And again, your instant reaction, you're like, okay, I know, it's time to go.
That would be game over, and that would really shit on my plans, right?
Yeah,
I would suddenly
really
have to
would.
probably get back into sales or figure something out because we don't have the money for kids, and the cost. Anyway, yeah, you get it.
Yeah,
but, yeah,
good for
man.
you, man.
Yeah,
Man.
Hey, I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to say, but I really, really appreciate it. And
No, I think. I think you already knew what you had to do. You just needed to talk to someone, who is a little more experienced in matters like this. The thing that really makes me feel better about this situation is the fact that you're pretty much mentally there. You didn't call me up in a panic. Oh my God, Donovan, I found out my wife is doing this and da 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 da. When I get calls like that, I know that it's going to get worse before it gets better. This does not appear to be that situation. It appears that you know exactly what's going on. I've given you a little bit more nuance. We now know why. Among other reasons, she's jumping your bones more. She senses that you've got 1 foot out the door, 1.5 feet out the door. She senses your don't give a fuck attitude, which combined with the weight loss, Scott, incidentally enough, makes you more sexually attractive anyway. Right. So that, you combine those two factors together and she is going to be more sexually attracted to you. But at this point, this marriage is not going to change. The only thing that, and I was actually going to recommend my ebook, Dead Bedroom, The Cure for a Sexless Relationship, but that's not going to help you because you're not in a sexless relationship. You are in a very sex-filled relationship for very nefarious reasons. So if I were you, I would contact I would contact a divorce lawyer and at least get a consultation because and because you guys don't have any assets, that at least none that I know of, or any children, most divorce lawyers, most ethical divorce lawyers will tell you, dude, you don't need me. Just go down to the courthouse and file for divorce. You guys don't have any kids, you guys don't have any money, it's going to be open and shut.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wonder, I guess this depends on state. Do they kind of take a look at the history of the marriage? Because like she was actually making more than me for a few years, and then I made more than her. I made like a lot more than her last year.
Yeah.
And then now we're about the same. I guess, is it just kind of based on the past year, or do you think you've heard of situations where it was they took into account the entire marriage, or like the past 5 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll have to ask a lawyer that. Obviously, it varies from state to state, but you haven't hit the 10-year mark yet. You know what 10 years means? 10 years means alimony, whether you guys had kids or not. You guys are coming up on the point of no return. You guys have been married for 8 years. In a year and a half, she will be entitled, or one or both of you will be, or one of you will be entitled to alimony. That could be another reason why she is wanting to, why she wants to have a baby, so soon. See, before, when she wanted to have kids with you, Scott, she wanted to have kids because that's what she wanted. She loved you. She was in love with you. She wanted to have a family, blah, 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 blah. But now, the reason she wants to have kids, the reason she wants to have a kid out of you is to attach herself to you, because it doesn't matter how much you make or how much she makes. As soon as you get her pregnant, as soon as she pisses a plus sign, my friend, you are on the hook for at least 18 years.
Yep.
So I would go consult I would go consult with an attorney. And again, dude, my wife Darcy and I, we were married for 7 years. We had no kids. We had no money. My divorce cost us $12. My divorce cost me $12, and there was about a 3-year period where Darcy didn't even work. I was working 2 jobs and she was at home or doing whatever the hell she was doing. And even still, I wasn't ordered to pay anything because we hadn't been married for 10 years. I would consult with an attorney as soon as possible. I honestly, today is Sunday, I would do it tomorrow, because at some point, your wife is going to realize that her efforts are falling on deaf ears, and then a race to the courthouse begins.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yep. I need to come see you at the next CME.
Yeah. Listen. And here's the thing. And this is nobody's fault. This isn't her fault. This isn't your fault. This is not even her mother or father's fault. Unfortunately, you didn't have the knowledge that you have now. Had you had the knowledge at 24 than you do now at 32, your life would be very different at this point. Your wife would be in line. Yeah. You guys would probably be on your way to having your first or second or third kid, and everything would be fine. The reason why this marriage is probably not going to work is because it just didn't start off this way. If you guys had been together for a year and a half or 2 years, maybe you could salvage it. Maybe. It's been 8 years. There is no salvaging this relationship.
Yeah, no, it actually ticks me off, man. Like, 'cause she was the perfect level of moldable, feminine, follow my lead. And man, if I could just download my memory to myself back then, it would just be an awesome marriage. I would have been able to kind of, I guess program her the right way as my wife,
Yeah.
So
it sounds like you guys, and dude, timing is everything. Timing is everything, because dude, you and your wife met each other, well, I don't know, I would say 20 to 30 years ago. Her being 19 and you being 24, that would have been the perfect time for you guys to meet, because feminism wasn't in full swing. But here's the good news. Here is the good news for you, Scott. You can still marry a 19-year-old. You could probably still marry a 19-year-old. Is she gonna see? Here's the thing. This is the equivalent of is she is 27 and you're 32. If you were a woman, you would probably be 18 to 19 years old as a woman. And we know the world is our oyster. If she were a man, she'd be 67, 68 years old, man.
Wow.
Yep. She'd be 67, 68 years old. And as a 67, 68-year-old man, yeah, you could probably get some sex every now and again from women in their 50s, possibly 60s. The point is The point is, Scott, is that your prospects moving forward are going to be a lot more favorable than her prospects moving forward. And this is why you got to get out of this relationship right now.
Yep. Gotcha. Will do. Yeah, I'm going to contact an attorney. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin in the chat, who's also been through a divorce, she says the court only cares that you agree. She is absolutely right about that. As long as the court knows that you agree, you guys are good to go. Now, she might not. Now, you have to talk to your lawyer about this. Hey, what if she doesn't want to sign the divorce papers? Look, it does. At some point, if you want out of the marriage, they're going to let you out of the marriage. Just be prepared for a little bit of resistance.
Gotcha.
All right, Scott. Well, listen, thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it. And if you have any other updates, feel free to call in anytime, man.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Donovan.
No problem at all, man. Thanks for watching and listening. Yeah, man. Bradstall says, but Scott, you will have a hard time finding another virgin. I would not care about that. But no, I agree. Like it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult to find virgins. I've had sex with dozens of women. I don't think any of them was a virgin except for the first girl I ever had sex with. So, all right, let's see here. Devin in the chat says she died on the ride. It's taken too long for her to trust him to lead. Yeah. And again, that's nobody's fault. Scott just did not have the requisite tools and the knowledge to lead his wife the way she needed to be led. Oh my God, that was dumb. My bad. Dan Erb says she already does what she wants. Yeah, probably. BS Profile says Pink is a champion of Slanesh. I don't know what that is. Macintosh user on the Macintosh user on the Rumble site says this is a very dangerous woman he has. She went through life being feminine and innocent, and then one day lost her religion and gained an insecurity complex of confidence, and now recognizes the power dynamic. Wow. Well said, my friend. God damn, well said, my friend. Holy smokes. Wow. Whew. Dude, that was spot fucking on, man. That was spot on. Diabolical Man says, in our society as of right now, being a virgin literally doesn't hold that much water anymore. No, it doesn't. Because one thing that Pearl, hang on a second, guys. One thing that Pearl has told me about Walter. Oh wait, that's not Walter. One thing that Pearl has told me is that there are a lot of virginal women who have grossly overestimated their sexual market value. They think that all they have to be is a virgin and they will have their choice in men. So they think that if they are covered in tattoos, I'm a virgin, so I'll get the man I want. I'm fat, but I'm a virgin, I can get the man I want. Okay? And it's funny because now virginal women know that they are literally at a premium. They're literally at a premium, and so a lot of times they're even more difficult to deal with. Dude, Lolo Jones. You guys know who Lolo Jones is? Lolo Jones is that she was that Olympian. She's that Olympian, good-looking woman, very good-looking woman. I don't think she's still a virgin. I don't think she's still a virgin, but she was a virgin. Hold on, you know what? I'm gonna look that up. Hang on a second. Is Lolo Jones still a virgin? Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, I think Lolo Jones. Oh my God, dude. So it appears that Lolo Jones is still a virgin. Lolo Jones is still a virgin, and surprise, 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 she's still single. She's still single, man. See, Lolo Jones, dude, Lolo Jones is she is a very, very, very unique type character. Just so you guys know who she is, Lolo Jones is fucking beautiful. Just so you guys know, Lolo is fucking beautiful. Let me, hang on, God, dude, Lolo was doomed. Oh my God, she was doomed from the start. She was born dude, she is a fucking gorgeous woman. She is absolutely she is breathtakingly gorgeous, even at 40 years old. There she is. So this is Lolo, guys. This is Lolo Jones. Dude, listen, this chick hit the genetic lottery. She hit the genetic lottery, man. She's fucking gorgeous. She's fucking gorgeous. But you guys are seeing this. Olympian Lolo Jones turns to IVF. So now she's freezing her eggs. And you know, it's weird. Lolo Jones has had the misfortune of being born when she was born. Because not only... Oh. Oh my God. Rory McIlroy has won the Masters. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hang on, guys. Rory McIlroy has won the Masters. Wow. Very good. Good for Rory McIlroy. Finally achieves a career slam. Lolo Jones has a couple of things that are not really bad, but are sort of, oh, there's Walter, that are sort of unfortunate. Number one, she was born beautiful. Okay, that's fine. Number two, virgins are at a premium. But number three, she's a celebrity, guys. She's a celebrity, okay? She is a celebrity. The fact that she is a celebrity, that has what has cost her happiness. Because when you are a celebrity, you can't be with just an average man. You can't be with a Donovan Sharp. You know what I'm saying? You can't be with you just can't be with just a normal, just a regular dude. Right? That's just how it is. Lolo, dude, what would it look like for Lolo Jones if she were to marry John Smith? Right? Everyone would consider her a failure. Unfortunately for Lolo, she was born in this day and age, and this woman appears to still be a virgin. She appears to still be a virgin. She's beautiful and she's a virgin, but she is still single. She's still single. She's, again, guys, hypergamy. She's a celebrity. She's got to marry another celebrity. It's terrible. Gully Blanchard says, how is she good looking, 40 and a virgin? Is she religious? Yeah, I think so. I think she I think Lolo really liked the attention she got from men being a virgin, because everybody's trying to crack the code or whatever the case may be, but Yep. JROTC operator. JROTC operator. I finally said that right. Yeah, JROTC operator says Mackenzie Bezos tried it, got divorced a year later. Yeah, remember Mackenzie Bezos married some science teacher or whatever? A year later, that marriage was over. So yeah. It's sad and it's unfortunate, but it is true. So, all right, guys. Well, man, I'm gonna tell you what. That was a really good. That was a great Sunday Zoom call. It really was. This one lasted almost 3 hours. We got a little bit of sports talk in there as well. Guys, in just over an hour, I will be joined by my good friends Miami J and Jay Blaze, and we are going to have the pre-NFL draft edition of the Chop Block Sports Talk. I will see you guys in about an hour. Thanks for watching.